Yo, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, welcome to the greatest show on earth, aka the Sports Senseis. I am your girl Sensei, of course, and I got my people with me per usual, as always. My sisters, my right hands, my co-hosts and go-tos. I have Ruth the Truth in the house. What's going on, Ruth the Truth? How are you doing today?
Um,
What is
it's not a victory Monday for the Dallas Cowboys, so I've been on the couch all depressed and mopey. But you know what? This is bringing me back into my feng shui, so I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. So sorry for your loss. We'll get into that a little bit later. And shout out to my girl, of course, none other than the great Jay, aka Janae Nicole. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Good, good. I'm with Ruth the Truth, and that Cowboys loss that hurt me because I just knew they were gonna pull it off, especially the way it ended. But yeah, we'll get into that later. But my Chiefs in a new
Uh
era.
oh.
My Chiefs is a thing. So
Okay,
woo,
okay.
I
The
guess
Chiefs,
it's always my
the
NFC
Chiefs
team,
are
but the Chiefs are my AFC. So, but we'll get into
yes.
that. Yeah.
Well, definitely for sure you got the Chiefs W, but the Cowboys lost again. Like I said, we'll get into that a little bit later. So here's the thing. All right, so we got two really cool guests coming on the show today. One Kelsey Nicole, she'll be on a little bit later, and we also have a young girl who's actually a quarterback for her football team at the current moment. So she's gonna be on the show also and as well. She's gonna actually be on the show at the end. So we were able to work that out. So she'll be on the show at the end. So before we have Kelsey come on, she's gonna come on pretty soon. I want to ask you guys about the game tonight. So there's a Monday night football game. Of course, it's the playoff game. It's the Rams versus the Cardinals. Ladies, what are we thinking? How is it gonna go? Do we have any score predictions? Do we have any personal stat predictions? What we thinking? I'll start with you, Jay. What you got?
Ooh, okay. So I think Rams all day, all day. Cardinals definitely shaky the second half of the season. All the losses they did manage to beat the Cowboys. It was like, that was just kind of a gimme win just because Kyler Murray's undefeated in Jerry's world. But yeah, I'm gonna go Rams. I'm gonna go Rams. I think it'll be a good game. I'm gonna go 28-14.
Ooh,
2014. I feel
okay.
like that's legit. I just think there's just too many weapons. I think the Cardinals just don't have enough. I think they were just shaky, and they started off good this season, but they don't have enough. The Rams want it. They went out. They got Von Miller. They got OBJ. Like they were like, we're coming to make a Super Bowl run. They wanted more. They gonna take the win.
Okay, perfect. What about you, Ruth the Truth? Who you got?
I can respect that a lot. I think Kyler Murray has definitely improved his game going into his second season in the NFL. And he is one of those pocket quarterbacks that you don't want him to escape the pocket. So I think
Mm-hmm.
the Rams front seven are going to have their hands full. But this is going to be the third time they're matching up this season, as they had a week 4 and week 13. Arizona won the first round and the Rams won the second round. And I think the Rams have improved their defense since then. As Jay mentioned, they added Von Miller on that front seven, who is a 1-2 punch next to Aaron Donald. So I have the Rams winning tonight. I want to say it's going to be a pretty high-scoring game with those offensive weapons on both sides. So I want to say it's going to be a high-scoring game. I want to say 28-31 Rams.
Okay, nice. Now, Freddie just actually put a comment here. He said that did you guys see that JJ Watt is coming back? Um,
Ooh.
does that make a difference in the game and how it's gonna go? Is he gonna come back and make an immediate impact? Is his presence just alone gonna uplift that defense, or I mean, is it gonna just be? I mean, how do you think they manage him, being that he's coming back in the midst of a pretty intense playoff game?
Go ahead, Jay.
Anybody's sure.
Yeah, I'll go. So JJ Watt, I worked for the Houston Texans. I got to see JJ Watt up close and personal. I love JJ Watt. He's been plagued by injuries. I don't know, right? I think it's in the psyche of saying, hey, this person is coming back. Rams, be ready for JJ Watt. But you don't know. When you're coming back off an injury, you really don't know how you're going to play, how you're going to perform. I think it's like, hey, this is the big moment. This is our chance to go to the next level. And so, hey, come back and play. But we really don't know. I would love to see JJ Watt shine. I would love to see see, I want to see, my former Texans, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll be enough. I just think, like I said, the Rams wanted more. They went out, got OBJ, got Von Miller. I just think they wanted more. So even with JJ Watt in the mix, you know what I mean? I think it'll be a good game. Maybe a little closer than when I said 28-14, but you just don't know when you come back from an injury. So I wish JJ Watt, though, to have a great game. I really do. I really, really do.
I'm actually really shocked that JJ Watt has been activated off the injury reserve list, because when he first got hurt back in, I want to say late October, he had shoulder surgery just 2 weeks after that. And he was said to have a recovery period between 6 to 9 months. Sorry, guys, that's my cat.
That's okay. Hi, cat.
His name's Pluto. I just got him really excited. I was really shocked to hear that he's coming back. They activated him this Monday afternoon, just hours before kicking off the super wild card match against the Rams. But I think he's crucial. I think him being a part of that front seven is going to apply the pressure that Matthew Stafford does not want to see. So great look for Arizona. I'm really shocked that he's back this early, but we'll see how it turns out for them.
For sure. So I think I agree with actually both of you ladies. I think that the Rams will go ahead and pull off the win. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I believe it's going to be a shootout, just because Matthew Stafford is. I mean, he's built for these kind of games. And then Kyler Murray. I mean, even with the losses and kind of their up and down season, that kid ain't scared of nothing. Like there's nothing that fear. Like he just has that swagger, just that confidence, that belief in himself. That no matter what game, no matter who he's going against, he's gonna be himself. Like you're never gonna rush him, gonna make him do things that he's not accustomed to doing. So I definitely think it's gonna be a high scoring game. I think 31-28. I'm sorry. It's probably gonna be my score prediction also in as well. With the Rams taking the W. But I mean, honestly, I feel like this is one of those games that could go either way. Just because both of these offenses are kind of similar as far as the things that they like to do, and they have explosiveness on both sides as far as the receiving core and the running game also in as well. So it's gonna come down to which defense can make the stop at the most opportune time. Like that's gonna be the deciding factor, because we all know both of these teams can score. Like it's bound to happen. Like nobody's gonna really stop anybody, but it's like when you need that stop in that crucial, critical moment, who's going to be able to do that at that time? And I feel like that the Rams have a better shot of doing that than the Arizona Cardinals. Now, with J.J. Watt, I'm not sure what his impact is going to be. I'm not even sure they're going to play him a whole lot, just because he is coming back from a serious injury.
It's only been 13 weeks since surgery. Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Exactly. It's been 13 weeks. He hasn't, played in an NFL game since when did he get it? What week was it?
It was October 24th. I don't really remember exactly what week was it, but yeah.
And I know it's like really early in the season, so he pretty much has missed the entirety of the season. So I don't know if they want to risk further injury or you know what I'm saying. So there's just a lot that comes with that situation. So I think that they're gonna be cautious with him. But I do think that him just being in the physical and being around that team can lift the morale of that team definitely, and that defense can rally around him. But I don't really see him making that much of an impact. Somebody said there's a lot of pressure on Stafford if the Rams lose tonight, because it will be because of him. Do you guys agree with that?
I honestly think that Matthew Stafford has to have an excellent game for the Rams to be successful, because when he has a completion rating under 100, they don't win. And everybody saw how that San Francisco overtime loss, and everybody blamed Stafford. So he has a lot to come back from. And I mean, when you go from being an organization for 9 seasons and not having a winning season over 500, I mean, that's kind of depleting for somebody. This is going to be your first time to really shine. So the light is definitely on Matthew Stafford. And if he has a bad game and throws for a couple interceptions, it's going to be a bad look for the Rams.
Absolutely. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, there's a lot of pressure. I agree with Ruth. There's a lot of pressure on Stafford. They went and got him. I'll be honest. I thought he was it time for him to retire when he was on the Lions? Like I really did. I was like, Matthew Stafford, you were like kind of a nobody. Like we know you, but you really haven't done anything. So to see him come to the Rams and show up and show out, right? And again, we went and got these weapons. We built a team. We won a Super Bowl now. because to see the Rams a couple years ago, to believe they were just in the Super Bowl, and then it's like Goff was just a has. I don't know, it was really weird. Let me say this. I'm not all about the Cinderella story. I want to see teams that are consistently good get that far. When I see a team make it on a fluke, and you know what happened with the Saints, they missed the pass interference or the call, and so that's how the Rams got in. And I didn't like that. You know what I mean? I want to see good getting to the Super Bowl. So all of that to say, though, Matthew Stafford has to show up. He came and he did. So it let me know he wasn't done. Once he just needed to go to a different team, right? And again, the Rams got the weapons. We built a team. We try and get to the Super Bowl now. So, but yeah, that loss to the 49ers and let the 49ers stick in to the playoffs. So he looked just like a shell of himself. Kind of like, what are you doing? I know you know it's the last game of the season, but I need you to play like you've been playing and what you guys can do. So a lot of pressure on the Rams, but I still think they'll go ahead and get it done.
Yeah, I don't really say that he should retire. 33 years old.
I was like, dang, Jay, like retirement though?
He's only 33. Like, he's got plenty of playing time. So I'm gonna rattle off. I want to rattle off some of his stats for the season. He's completed 404 passes for 4,886 yards, averaging 287 yards a game with 41 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. So, yes, he has the most interceptions for the starting QBs in the NFL, but I still think he has a lot of playing time left.
For sure. I think
But I want to know, ladies, do you think Matthew Stafford was a huge upgrade from Jared Goff for the LA Rams?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Without a doubt.
Go ahead.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Come on now. Like, that's like Matthew Stafford to Jared. I don't understand how that didn't happen sooner. In all honesty, like that.
Did you guys hear the accusations that apparently Jared Goff got traded because he was in a group text with some teammates and was talking about Sean McVay's wife, saying that if I wanted to, I could smash that.
Cap.
Yes.
Cap.
I want to know if that's true, because if it is, I need to give Jared Goff a high five because he's an idiot.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what in my head, like, that's as far as I know, that's why he got traded. I was was like, what he's saying, and McVay's like, nah, bro, you gotta go. We're gonna just do a little swapperoo. But yeah, like to be honest, I didn't really know who really wanted the trade when it first happened, right? I was like, Stafford ain't done nothing on the Lions. I'm not really impressed. Goff, are you a one-hit wonder? I don't know. You're injured. You know what I mean? So, like, I really didn't know. But clearly, as the season went on progressing, we see what they're doing. It's like, okay, Stafford, you still got some. You shouldn't retire. Like, you can still ball. Like, okay. So
really quick, y'all. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. But really quick, Kelsey is actually in backstage now. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring her on, definitely bring her on. We're also, when I do bring her on, I wanted to throw out there for you guys that we're going to do like the accomplishments and stuff at that time. So everybody can kind of go one after the other, and then we'll jump into just to throw that out there.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right, I'm going to bring her in, guys. All right. Give me a second.
Hi.
Hello there, hey sis. What's going
on? How are you all? My apologies for being a little delayed. Lots happening in DC. But glad to be amongst you beautiful ladies.
Yes.
Yeah, you look outstanding. Is that a blouse or is that a dress that you were wearing?
Because it is a blouse. I just had to do a virtual event that I had to.
First of all, we are honored because not only is the blouse on fleek right now. Can we give a shout out to the hair? Like, can we get the
hey,
I'm humbled.
Are like, girl, inspo. Like,
I appreciate that. Look, we just had a snowstorm, so I had to do everything myself. So I appreciate that so much.
You did that yourself. Ma'am.
There you go. Yeah.
So fans of the Sports Senseis, please listen. We have a special guest. We've been talking about this. We finally got our guest on the show. Kelsey, welcome to the Sports Senseis. We're so happy to have you here.
I'm honored, honestly. I love ending my evening with ladies who just talk sports. I was listening to the tea backstage, so I know it's going to be fun. So thanks again so much.
Absolutely. So thank you once again. Thank you so much for being on. So before we get into like the topics and things of that nature, I want you really quick, if you could just run down some of the things that you've done and been a part of, and kind of what you got going on currently, and then the ladies we'll all do the same. So we'll kind of just get acquainted with each other a little bit.
All right, awesome. Well, hello, everyone. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, based in our nation's capital, my hometown, which I love, Georgetown graduate, Maryland graduate. And lately, I've been covering a little bit of everything, but most people know me here in the area. I have my own sports talk podcast and radio show, Listening with KNN on Fox Sports Radio, also doing a sports betting show on Sundays, which I know a lot of you guys are now involved in with the growth of sports betting with the Draft Network. So that's also been a blast to continue with that. I have 2 great co-hosts for that show, trying to hopefully win people some money, which has been fantastic. Last season, working with the Washington football team, which was also truly a dream come true. I do a bunch of radio and TV in the area. So a lot of people know me to go on Talking Wizards, Talking Washington football team, Capitals, Nationals, a little bit of everything. If it's in the DMV, basically, I cover it. I also teach intro to radio and podcasting. So shout out to our next generation of young journalists, and then just involved in a lot of different things. So I have my own nonprofit organization called Books Breaking Borders. And we basically help to end illiteracy rates throughout the DMV. And now we're going to be expanding to Canada, which I'm super, super excited about, in the USA and beyond. So it's been a blast. I'm excited to join you all, of course, on this show. I'm probably forgetting some things, but that's pretty much the gist of what's been going on lately. Thanks again for having me.
That's a lot right there. Honestly, I was like trying to keep up. I'm like, yikes! Like I gotta bar myself up a little bit. But but thank you so much again. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and that's definitely salute to you, because I've been following you since you came on ASAP originally. So I've been kind of just keeping tabs. So I've been seeing what you're doing, sis, and I'm definitely proud of you. So salute to you for that. Now, Ruth the Truth, we gotta get into some things. Ruth the Truth, please let the people know, as well as your credentials, things that you got going on, also as well, because I want to make sure everybody is familiar with all of us and like what we got going on, what we doing, things of that nature. Because not only is this a sports women show, but this is a show of empowerment and all of those things. So I want to make sure that we put that out in the world. So Ruth the Truth, what you got for me? Oh, Ruth, I think you're muted, babe. I can't hear you.
Mobby.
There you go.
Started back in 2018. I started an internship with Sports Talk Florida, doing a little sideline reporting for them. I covered the Orlando City Lions as well as the Orlando Pride. Whoop, whoop. I also started covering the Orlando Magic for Sports Talk Florida as well. So that was my first year into professional sports. They started an AAF football league as well. I don't know if you guys remember. It folded after 6 weeks, but the Orlando Apollos was the only undefeated team that I was on the sidelines for as well, which was an awesome experience because I love football. Basketball has my heart, but I love covering and watching and writing about football as well. I just recently signed with a new network called NSPN, where we're focused on all international and the sports in the United States. And I'm going to be the reporter for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I've been going to One Buck and practices, and I got some time to talk to Brady this season. And that was probably the highlight of 2021, was just talking to him. And let me tell you, the aura that comes off that man is really intimidating. Like, I asked him, like, hey, Brady, how are you doing? How are you feeling? He was like, I'm great. How are you? And I didn't even know how to answer that question. I was like, I wasn't ready for that, but okay, thanks for, being so kind. But I've just been doing a little bit of everything. I started my own females sports podcast under the Beauty and Cleats network, and just been doing a little here and there and trying to build up my profile to one day be a sports broadcaster on national television. That is the ultimate goal. Molly Karam is one of my favorite TV sports hosts from First Take. I've been watching her for like the past 4 years, and she's been one of my idols. So I'm trying to get to that level and be next to Stephen A. Smith one day.
I love it. You will get to that level. Speaking
yes, it's coming. It's coming. Absolutely. I love that as awesome as well. So shout out Ruth the Truth, man. That's super dope. And like I said, you definitely are gonna get there, sis. So we salute you also and as well. Jay,
thank you.
You're next. Yes. You got we talk all the time. So I know what's going on. But go ahead, let the people know what you got going.
Real quick to Ruth, from your lips to God's ears, amen. Come on,
amen.
Amen.
Yes, speak it into existence.
Yes. Okay, so all the stuff I got going on. First, let me say Chi-Town's finest right here from Chi-Town. First thing I think is really just cool about me, I actually got married at home plate at the Chicago White Sox field at US Cellular. So that's literally started my love of sports, working with the person. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. So 3 weeks after I got married, moved to Texas. Like, okay, started working in sports. I didn't know. I'm like, how do you get into this? UTSA football games. So UTSA Roadrunners, doing the football games, working in the press box. That led to the 2018 Men's Final Four. That led to 2019 ESPN Rock the Mic San Antonio, first runner-up out of 100 men. Then that led to working for the San Antonio Spurs, working for the Houston Texans, got to work in the press box, that was a dream job. I don't know if I threw in San Antonio Commanders. I heard you mention the Apollo. So, the Commanders, we had the highest attendance. So I felt like it would have been Commanders and Apollo in the championship if they would have just let it play through. I ain't gonna lie. I cried a little bit when it ended. I was like, no, we're so close. And we just had signed Johnny Manziel, right? So
I remember that.
That's right. I did have Johnny Manziel.
Yeah, it could have been nice. So let's see, fast forward to that 2021. I started my own sports radio show, Sports by the Numbers, at 9:30 a.m. The Answer, San Antonio. First African American woman to host her own sports radio.
Let's go.
Black
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's come on. Yes, I love it.
So today is actually Sports by the Numbers birthday. We are
Happy
turning
birthday.
1.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so strategically, I started my show on MLK Day, being that I was first African American woman host. So we're having a birthday party tonight, and we just joined Sports by the Numbers. Just joined ASAP Network, so we will be live on YouTube, on Facebook. So we just joined last night. Freddie made that happen, and so it's about to be a party. We got balloons, we got favors, everything. So 8 p.m. tonight, 8 p.m. Central. Sports by the Numbers at 9:30 a.m. The Answer. We are having our birthday party. We are giving away cash apps, guys, cash app prizes. And for a lucky caller in the fourth segment, you about to get a birthday present. It's our birthday, but we want to give you something. So,
dope. Yes.
Awesome.
This is why this is the greatest show in the world. Do y'all hear this? Like, this is
I love it. I love it all.
And this is only week 2.
This is only week. It only gets better from here. So from that, because we have a few. Well, I have some questions I want to ask you, and just a little fun before we get into the more serious stuff. What are your top 5 Washington sports moments? It doesn't matter the order. It doesn't matter the team or the sport. What are your top 5 and why? Like what comes to mind off the dome?
Oh my gosh. So as a former Hooper, I got to start with the Washington.
Yes, come on,
finally bringing us a championship to DC. As someone who grew up watching the Washington Mystics, watching Lena Beard, Coco Miller, and just so many other Mystics greats. There was nothing like seeing the Mystics do it in their brand new arena, Southeast DC. We'll never forget that. John Wall, Bradley Bill in attendance. Like, it wasn't like any other. We knew when Elena Deladon came to DC, we knew what the mission was. And lo and behold, we got our championship here. So that's definitely number 1. And we're still waiting for the Washington Mystics to get a proper parade, by the way, in DC. DMV folks, you guys know what I'm talking about. So of course, COVID happened. They pushed it back. Players went overseas. And still, they deserve their fair due. There's nothing like a parade in DC. So that definitely has to be, number 1. I still remember Tiana Hawkins. She grabbed her son. Ariel Powers jumped on the scorer's table, which is like a thing in DC. You guys probably remember when John Wall did that. That would probably be another moment when John Wall said, "This is my city," and it's why we miss John Wall. I'll put John Wall in there too. Definitely a favorite moment when he jumped on that scorer's table. As a Maryland girl, I have to go next to Baltimore Ravens winning the Super Bowl. You guys remember? You guys remember New Orleans 2012? The lights go out. San Francisco back up. It was special, that Jacoby Jones 108-yard return. I mean, like, the Ravens doing it, which of course this year was heartbreaking. We won't talk about that right now, but they did in 2012. It was really special. And I really think Joe Flacco, that's when he was probably at his more greater moments. Definitely a top moment, and also another great parade that happened here in Baltimore. And when I say DMV area moments, I'm also putting Baltimore in that. Some folks here don't
absolutely.
like
yes.
And the DC moments. I think the next one, I have to go to my school, University of Maryland, 2002, winning that national championship. You guys, I feel old because I was talking to a young kid actually yesterday. And I'm talking about Juan Dixon and the championship. And he's like, oh, yeah, isn't he with the girl on Real Housewives of Potomac? I'm like, is that what he's known by now? Not the greatness.
Wow.
So I said,
wow.
Am I old? Is sports different now? But you guys remember the greatness that Juan Dixon had.
Oh, my God.
In that championship. And then next, I feel like I got to go to the Nationals winning recently. You know, in the more recent history, we've become the District of Champions here. In the DC. So like Capitals winning, Nationals winning, bringing us titles. So right now, DC was in pretty good sports moments. The Washington football team didn't get that memo, unfortunately. But the rest of our sports championship teams has been very proud. And I'm just honestly lucky and glad to have covered those moments and have been here with fans. So hopefully one day, far, far, far in the future, I'll be telling my grandkids, like, I remember when that happened. So it's been a fun time in DC. Busy, but fun.
Yes. That's dope. Yeah, that's actually some really good moments. I'm glad that you threw John Wall in there too, because I don't feel like he gets enough. I know DC loves him, but I don't feel like he gets enough.
We miss him.
Like,
we miss
globally.
him.
So what? So really quick, with that, like, how do you guys feel about the trade now? Like, do you feel like that's something that you guys should have done, or do you feel like John Wall should still be a Wizard?
Oh my gosh. So I'll tell you this, like John Wall is DC's adopted son. And anybody that's been in this area knows that. Like John Wall embraced the city. You could go see him at Rose Bar. He'd be at the clubs. He'd be riding around DC in his car with the windows down, talking to folks and people. He did a lot of great community service work in DC. So I say that to say we love John Wall. He embraced the HBCUs here. And shout out to everyone that had a chance, by the way, to watch Howard play Notre Dame today. First time Notre Dame and played in HBCU, so we're very proud about that in DC. So I think we love John Wall, but the injuries did start to catch up to him. So I think in the long term, of course, I think we miss John Wall very much. When the Russell Westbrook trade had first happened, many people were scratching their head and asking questions. You guys know it kind of had to be. It was like a rocky start, but then we kind of got into things, but Wizards fans now we're looking at him out in LA saying, "Oh, you didn't have to bring that up. You didn't have to bring it up." Wizards fans are like, talk about that. Let that happen. But I think so. I think honestly, in the long run, John Wall was hard to let go because he was our guy after Gilbert. Was the next guy that DC really embraced. And I think Bradley Beal, of course, has stepped into that leadership role. But John Wall just kind of had that specialness. Everybody remembers when John Wall brought out that Dougie at Capitol. It wasn't like
I remember that.
Like, I mean, we love John Wall. You'll still see a bunch of John Wall jerseys in DC. And I'll tell you guys, a lot of people are just sad seeing kind of right now the trajectory of his career and really just hoping for this bounce back and this comeback in the NBA because we knew what he did right here for DC. So I think fans, even though they miss him, they know it kind of worked out in the longer run. Hopefully the Wizards can start to continue to change things around. Today was good for DC, but it was just hard. I'll tell you that. It was hard. It was a hard parting just because, again, everybody loved John Wall through thick and thin and really felt like he would be the guy that would be here forever to hopefully bring a championship back to DC. We're tired of talking about the Bullets days. We want a championship for the Wizards right now in DC.
What is going on?
I think she's frozen. Oh, there we go.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what is happening with my internet, but so there actually were really good moments, and I'm what? Oh no! I'm like, I know she's about to say something dope too. Technology, right?
Right. So no,
it's such a pain. So I'm gonna segue into talking about some Washington football. Okay. Are you satisfied with what Dan Snyder has done with the organization, and what are their plans moving forward?
So you definitely hit a sore spot right now in DC when you said the owner's name. There's a lot happening with the ownership. And I will tell you all, like, Washington fans have been very unhappy with the leadership of this organization for a long time now. I mean, first it was fire Bruce Allen, get rid of Dan Snyder. These are common hashtags you'll see on social media, so I'm not breaking any news. And what this team has been through in the Dan Snyder era has just been hard for a lot of folks. And mind you, the Washington football team now is a football team that is having to deal with adversity both on and off the football field. It doesn't help any organization, especially when you're saying you want to change the culture. You got to clean up your house, clean up shop, and folks just just don't see that happening. And so I think right now when we're looking at what this team has been, and many feel like Dan Snyder has his hands in a lot of things, and this is why this team unfortunately isn't reaching what we wanted to reach. We've been through way too many quarterbacks, this quarterback carousel that we've been through. We haven't been able to keep guys happy in DC. We see guys finding bigger success other places, i.e. Kirk Cousins, i.e. Trent Williams, and so many others that we've lost in DC. And right now we're just trying to keep Terry McLaurin happy, because if we lose him, geez, that would be a crazy time for Washington. But I think many are looking at Snyder and saying, do you really know what you're doing? And I think when you see teams that are winning championships, they don't have a messy house. They have their ownership in line and intact. And that's right now what's not happening in DC. Fans feel a lack of transparency right now. We heard about the emails, we're hearing about the sexual harassment, but what's really happening? Adding your wife to the leadership, they're saying that's not enough, and they're not really knowing what's happening going on. Also, fans kind of feel disjointed from right now what's happening with the name change, which of course we'll all be looking at February 2nd. And also, I'll tell you guys, people felt really disrespected by how the Washington football team organization, Dan Snyder, Jason Wright, and everyone did the Sean Taylor tribute. Sean Taylor is somebody that is beloved throughout the NFL, but especially here in DC. And when I say beloved here through DC, I mean, you will literally see still people crying on the anniversary of his death, because that's how much he meant to the city. So I say all that to say there's a lot happening in Washington, and honestly, winning cures all. I don't care who your owner is. If you're winning, people can put aside all the maybe some of the craziness happening, but DC is also not doing that. I mean, you look at the year before last year. Yes, last season they were able to obviously get into the NFC, play that wild card game against Tom Brady. And honestly, looking at what the Eagles just put up, I think many people are saying, well, Washington actually did a decent job. But all that to say, it's like you go back to this year, and really, I thought it was Washington's NFC East division to lose, and lose that they did. And so I think you look at all the turmoil that this team has been through. And so from top to bottom, fans are just unhappy. We keep hearing about promises and checks that need to be cashed, but these checks are never getting cashed. So all that to say, I think Snyder, he has a lot of work to do if he wants to get back in good graces with Washington fans. But Washington fans are just saying enough is enough, and they want to begin at the top. Just getting a new coach at the helm just isn't enough for the Washington football teams. I think Snyder is going to have a long road trucking ahead if he really wants to change things in Washington. In Washington, we've been in so much controversy, just like our government, for a long time, and people are just in DC. So it's been a lot.
Well, Dan Snyder, I think the first thing he needs to do is clean up that FedEx field, because that stadium is atrocious. I mean, I don't want to be talking bad on your team or anything.
Speaking facts, though, too many.
Yeah, I was there for the Dallas. I was there for the Dallas Cowboys game, and we got like club level seating, and the seats were peeling apart. I mean, everybody saw what happened with Jalen Hurts, where he almost got completely crumbled or crushed under, the side of the railing that like.
Oh yeah.
I think that was a great moment for them to catch on camera to like get the attention of Washington. Like, hey, you guys need to start cleaning things up, because now it's getting a little dangerous. So that's his first order of business. For sure.
And I'll tell you another thing fans want is the stadium. They want to be back in DC. They want to be playing back in our nation's capital. Many people don't like to go to Landover, Maryland. You've been there, the trek there, the traffic there. But it's just hard again. And it's like, honestly, I said the railings falling was really accumulation of how we felt about this season. Everything just went off the rails. And that's exactly what happened with Washington.
That was so good.
It was hard. In that stadium, believe me, no one's proud of it. And DC tickets are not cheap here to go to a game, especially good seats. And people are like, well, what are we paying for? It's bad enough the product on the field isn't good. We're seeing too many injuries happening at that field. And then lo and behold, we have sewer falling, we have railings falling. Like, thank gosh, Jalen Hurts had a quick two-step to avoid that, because that could be this nasty injury for him. So it's a lot happening.
And a nasty lawsuit for the Washington football team.
Yeah, that too. That got up rather quickly. I'm sure lawyers are probably like, what were you doing?
How many drinks did you have? Did you walk the straight line afterwards? Or like, what are we? Yeah,
later up my back. Oh, I couldn't go to work,
They're lucky I wasn't there, because that would have been the Atlanta football team playing with me.
Lots of money in sports books. But I thought Jalen, though, shout out to Jalen Hurts, honestly, writing that letter to the team, following up to see what was happening, checking on the fans, and even just staying there to take pictures with the fans. Like I think players sometimes, and like, they forget how much people adore them, but he really saw like even after these people had a nasty fall, what did they do? They pop back up. Jalen Hurts is right here. I want this picture. I want to show my friends. So it's like, he's just a class act. And I feel like Jalen Hurts, that's a whole nother subject, but he deserves so much more respect for, I think, who the quarterback that he is, the player that he is, never getting in trouble and just doing good. So shout out to Jalen Hurts again for how he handled that entire situation that could have been a lot messier. And he could have said some mean things about DC and the team and the stadium, but I thought he took the high class route, but wanted to make sure that something was happening for these fans.
Yeah,
absolutely. So now that we've gotten that out the way, we are going to talk about some NFL football. Now, Ruth, I know this is going to be really sore for you. I'm so sorry, sis. I'm so sorry. Do you need a moment? Do you need a tissue? It's
Babe,
okay.
I need a tissue.
Okay. It's okay. Let it all out here. So the first topic that we're going to go ahead and discuss, of course,
I was kidding.
Everybody's been talking about it all day. I'm sure if you watched any sports shows, you've been seeing just the debacle that is. The Niners stunned the Cowboys at Jerry World.
Thanks, Matthew. The San Francisco 49ers weren't even supposed to be there.
Again, this is so you have to understand it's a very sore spot for our good friends. So we have to understand she's gonna be upset. She's gonna be a little upset. She's gonna be a little uptight. But it's okay. So they stunned him at Jerry World. Everybody's talking about the last play, of course. But if you watch the full course of the game, you expected the Niners to win just from how Dallas started, honestly. But I'm going to get into what do you ladies think, or what you guys thought of the game? What were where you were in? Okay, sorry. Jay, I'll go ahead and start with you. So what did you think about yesterday's game? And what did you think about the last play? Was it the right call? Should they have done something else? Should have Dak done something different? Like, what are your thoughts?
First, let me say, so Ruth knows this. Last week I had on my Cowboys hat. So I will say I'm a Chiefs fan all day, but the Cowboys, my NFC team. I do live in Texas now. I just went to Jerry World a couple weeks ago against the Washington football team, and we made them look like, whoa.
You have to bring that up,
It was a great game to be at. Jerry's World, pandemonium, beautiful. Man, if you love football, you a fan, just go to, it don't matter if you're a Cowboys fan, go to Jerry's World. It's a whole experience.
It is beautiful.
Let me say that. But I was at Chicken and Pickle, San Antonio. I had on my Cowboys gear. I had my Cowboys hat. I got one just like this, okay? Oh my gosh, like just the start of the game, like I was like, whoa. And last week I predicted, I was like, no, Cowboys gonna come outside 49ers, Jimmy G, but he came to play. He was like, you know what, we coming for it. I'm gonna show y'all they paid me this money for a reason. I did study under the great TB12. I'm hurt too. Not as hurt as Ruth, but like it hurt my heart for Cowboys fans, right? The state should be shaped in a star, okay? I know y'all been seeing all the memes, the black woman, the dude with the girlfriend, all the hey, Cowboys fans, your women didn't think they were getting rings anyways, all this stuff, right? It hurts my heart just for the fans because they are so diehard with their team. And it's like, I for sure was like, they're going to get at least one playoff, right? They're going to get at least one, like they do. Because in 2018-2019 season, I went to my first NFL playoff game when they played the Seahawks. Boom, Cowboys. So I was like, okay, they're going to at least pull off the one. That last play, the ref rushing up to get the spike the ball. Yeah, it was like, no, give them 1 second. That's not their fault. Like, but Dak running for it right in the middle. You don't have time. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, oh no, I'm a little choked up here on my cough. It was hard to watch.
Yeah, a huge disappointment. I mean, the numbers that Dak Prescott put in that game, did not suffice. You threw for one interception, one touchdown pass, 254 yards, but you couldn't get the run game going. And Dallas, I feel like ever since Mike McCarthy has become the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, we have strayed away from what makes us great, and that is the run game. Obviously, Zeke Elliott has been on a decline ever since he got the bag, which is really disappointing because now we see Dak Prescott declining as well after he gets the bag. So I don't know. I feel like Mike McCarthy is not setting that culture correctly for the Dallas Cowboys, not bringing in that discipline. We have been the most penalized team in the whole NFL. We had 14 penalties for over 100 yards lost, and it was disappointing. And I hate when the Dallas Cowboys decide they want to show up in the fourth quarter when it's already too late. you got to put points on the board if you're going to have any chance to win, and they failed to do so. So Dak Prescott, I know that he's received a lot of criticism for his comments about how the crowd reacted at the end of the game by throwing debris at the refs. And he tried to be like, oh, credit to them, because obviously that he was feeling some type of way about the officiating in that game. But that just makes you look so much worse when you try to blame the refs. You should actually look at the tape. Look how you couldn't take care of the ball. Look how you couldn't get your run game going. Look how you couldn't get CeeDee Lamb open. Like, it just all around a really big disappointment. I'm glad that they didn't have a chance to get that Hail Mary pass at the end of the game, because they did not deserve to beat the 49ers. So disappointing season, even though they came 12-4 as everything or 12-5 as the season wrapped up. But it's just overall, I'm disgusted with the whole play calling. Kellen Moore definitely doesn't deserve to be a head coach at this point in time. I think he still needs a little bit more experience under that belt, and that showed. I'd rather have Dan Quinn as our head coach over Mike McCarthy, because I just do not like the way this offense is organized under MM, and his what do they call it? His time management has been atrocious since week 1. So really disappointed with how things capped off for the Dallas Cowboys, and I just hope that they come back harder next season.
All right, Kelsey, I'll ask you this really quick before you get into your take. What does this mean for Dak? Because like Ruth said, Dak obviously didn't play well yesterday.
Yeah.
He's a $75 million man. Like, what does this mean for him? Like, how do you view him now that, he's had an opportunity fully healthy? Well, kind of healthy. He was injured a little bit, but he's had an opportunity in the playoffs to show they had a home playoff game to, show what he's made of, show he was worth the contract that he received. Like, what are your thoughts on him now? Like, is it the same? Yeah. Like, what do you think?
Let's just say that I'm very happy that I did not buy a Dak Prescott Cowboys jersey. I'll just put that out there.
Too funny. I will tell you all this. Like, well, a couple things. So one, in DC, I will tell you guys, even though the Washington football team found themselves outside looking in for the playoffs, when the Cowboys lost, you guys know this rivalry. It's literally a Super Bowl film. Yes. I mean, I saw pride and joy in DC that I hadn't seen in a little bit since the team was knocked out of the playoffs. Because that's just how
I'm glad that we could do that for you.
But let me tell you, they were very happy. And again, this is someone who covered the team, someone who's lived here my entire life. All that to say, you talk about Dak Prescott and the whole season, Kelsey, Dak is back, Dak is back. And there's something I like to say to people. Don't believe the hype. You have to show me who you truly are. And I think Dak Prescott, yes, I'm not just gonna banter him and say it was all his fault. Ruth made a great point. Like, you have a great receiver, CeeDee Lamb, who was a non-factor until too late in the game. But I think what we're seeing from Dak Prescott is, again, you pay this big money, but then what's going to be the result, right? You're supposed to be better. You're supposed to be a step up. You're not supposed to be regressing. I remember the same thing when I was covering Joe Flacco in Baltimore after he got that big contract, and all of a sudden the regression started. And of course, lo and behold, we know what happened to Joe Flacco's career. Dak Prescott is with a huge franchise in the NFL, right? Dallas Cowboys, it gets no bigger than that. It gets no bigger than the star. It gets no bigger than Jerry. He knew the task that had to be done. This is a Cowboys team that knew what they needed to do this year. And that was not to just get to the playoffs, but continue throughout the playoffs and hopefully go to the Super Bowl. But lo and behold,
it was the NFC Championship game or bust for me.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
At home, of all things, you drop at home, and you guys come off this hype. You're having this great year. Everyone's talking about Dallas and this defense, about Micah Parsons. And Ruth, you talk about just the messiness that we saw in that game. Honestly, I was just like, y'all have to get it together. And for me, it was the unraveling that we saw of the Dallas Cowboys. And like you said, from the beginning of the game, San Francisco should have won. They started to bite themselves in the foot because they had this guy, Jimmy G, that for the life of me, you live and die by Jimmy G. I cannot
four-star Jimmy.
All right, I'm just saying, Jimmy. I totally trust Jimmy G. Jimmy G is that guy, you really like him, but there's just something about him, and he's done something before, and you've caught him cheating, and you don't want to go back, and lo and behold, you go back to him, and once again, he just disappoints you. That's literally what Jimmy G is. All right, I'm sorry, that's what it is. And lo and behold, he got out of it yesterday, and if there was more time on the clock, to what you guys are talking about, there was a little bit more time on the clock at the end of that game, I think we'd be having a whole different discussion. But lo and behold, the end is the end. But I'm just going to say this. Dak Prescott is going to have to come back next season and be much better than he was the ending of this game. Because we're going to be talking about this for a while. And honestly, the NFC East, I think now is the Dallas Cowboys division. I think right now you're looking at the best quarterback right now. I mean, who knows what Washington will do with their quarterback situation. But right now, Dak Prescott is the best quarterback, right, in the NFC. I would say Jalen Hurts, I want him to continue to grow and just continue to evolve. But again, Dak Prescott is supposed to be that guy. I had questions about his injury when the season first started. But lo and behold, I thought he played decent. He played good. He has good receivers. He has a running game, even though we want Zeke, of course, to continue to evolve. Again, he has a defense. But lo and behold, again, what Dallas did was they made us believe this hype. I even picked Dallas to win that game. They had finally turned me into a Dallas Cowboys believer. And now I'm just looking like a fraudulent, like a liar. Dallas did. And I don't like that feeling. Because again, I did not trust Jimmy G. But all that to say, I think what Dak Prescott has to do is make sure that every dollar that he got paid, he's playing worth it. And right now, I think Dallas Cowboys fans are saying they want their money back. Lo and behold, I don't want trash to be thrown at anyone, but if y'all are going to throw trash, I would have been throwing it or aiming it at the referees. There's some other people who play like trash maybe that should have maybe got that. But also that comment that he did, I think that goes back to a leadership thing too. And I think what Dak did there too was just a reflection of, unfortunately, his poor leadership. I thought that was so disgusting to say that. Yeah. I tweeted that today. Dallas should be ashamed of themselves to even say something like that about referees. Dak, it's your fault. You're supposed to be the leader of the team. You know how much time is on the clock. You know what needs to be done. If a play is called in your ear that you know doesn't make sense, again, this is your team. You've been talking about it. You're supposed to be that guy. So again, I thought the ending of that game was just the unraveling of Dallas' season. And lo and behold, Cowboys fans have done a lot of talk. The Cowboys have done a lot of talk, but don't have much to show for it because lo and behold, right now, San Francisco 49ers are riding high. So a lot's happening.
I'm heartbroken. I feel like I just got dumped.
Know that. I thought y'all would win going into it, but San Francisco just came out like they had something to prove, and lo and behold, Dallas had nothing to show for it.
I feel like number one offense. They had the number one offense this season. The Cowboys did. Where was that at? And the number 10 defense, right? Hey, Trayvon Diggs, can we get an interception? Can we get?
Man, that man is burnt toast.
When they went out, that
man is burnt.
His brother was there. He was supposed to show up and show out at the game, right? Like,
I don't understand how you have a brother like Stephon Diggs and you are literally barbecue chicken. Like every time a receiver lines up on him, they're like, "We gonna eat today, baby. We gonna eat today," because you know he's gonna cheat. He's gonna cheat the play. You know he's gonna gamble, and all you gotta do is just stay patient. That's all you gotta do. Just stay patient. You gonna. That's why he has so many. People don't even understand this. That he has so many interceptions because quarterbacks try him, because they know like there's a chance I can get over on him if I can just pitch it right. I can get over on him because he's gonna gamble every single time. But as far as Dak Prescott, I was very disappointed in Dak Prescott's performance yesterday. I was disappointed in his comments also as well because I also picked the Cowboys to win, and the fact that they didn't and they were at home and they'd won their division, like everything had gone right for them. Like everything was lined up for them to be playing next weekend or whenever they would play again. And it's like every time and that's the issue. Every time you put your eggs in that Dallas basket, the bottom comes undone and everything just falls through. And it's just like, but why? So like I don't understand it. Dak has to be better. He has to be better. You're not getting paid that much money to play like that yesterday. Like you're not. There's no excuse for that whatsoever. That is America's team. You have to play that way. You have to show that every single game. Like you have to carry that. And not a lot of people are built to do that. And it's getting to the point where I'm starting to think that maybe Dak is not built to do that. Maybe it's too much pressure for him. Because any other quarterback in that situation, especially for that final play, would have been like, "No, that doesn't make sense. Let's try something else." Like,
and to be fair, for that pass that Cedric Wilson dropped, even though again I know it would have been tough, we would have been having a completely different conversation. I'm just saying,
it was in his hands. It was in his hands. That was like the fourth drop pass from Cedric Wilson. So I was like, "Stop giving him the ball. Stop looking at him. Go somewhere else." Get CD Lamb the ball. He threw to CD 5 times, and CD only caught the ball once, like completely shut down by the 49ers defense. And it was atrocious. It was really hard to watch. I probably went through a half a bottle of tequila. I ate a tub of ice cream. I had a tiramisu. I had 2 bottles of wine. Like it was a sad night for me last night. And I woke up this morning feeling heartbroken and having to watch Stephen A. Smith going at Michael Irvin on First Take, and then watching Dan Orlovsky on NFL Network completely tear us apart. Like It was just embarrassing. And I mean, you are a franchise quarterback, Dak Prescott. You know that the official needs to touch the ball before you give it to your center. So what are you doing? Like,
then you mad at him for doing his job. Like,
why are you mad at him? He's doing his job, you know.
Right.
But
yeah. Homie who dropped the ball, I know he's kicking himself right now because, like Kelsey said, if he catch that ball, like it's a completely different game. Like it's a completely different.
We would have been in the red zone.
Yeah, it was a completely different outcome if that. I mean, but honestly, you can say that, but then it's like if y'all get in the red zone, who's to say Dak would have made the right decision in the red zone? Because you clearly couldn't make the right decision as far as like towards the end of the game.
I would just love for him to do one of those famous front flips into the end zone. Like if you get that close, buddy, take the ball, quarterback sneak all the way. Risk that body. We paid enough for you. Let's do it. You know. But overall, I'm really disappointed.
Zeke decided to be a running back again. Maybe just instead of just an empty jersey.
Zeke who?
At that point,
Zeke who? I'm sorry. I'm done with Zeke right now. Like your Madden ratings have dropped dramatically. Cry about that all day if you want. Tony Pollard has taken over that number one back as the running back for the Dallas Cowboys, and it's just. Man, I'm so mad. Like, mad. Like, just give me a little bit of bragging rights. Like, give me a little bit. Like, I always have Jerry. I always have your back, always. And then you do me like this.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Why would you trust Jerry Jones? It's a law book. It's a law book somewhere that says thou shalt not trust Jerry Jones. I know it is because listen. I don't know what's wrong with Jerry Jones, but somebody needs to not be the owner of the Dallas Cowboys no more because the decision making it's
over his dead body though. You know Jerry
they're gonna bury him in Jerry World. Like I think Stephen Jones has kind of noticed that his dad is probably suffering from a little bit of dementia, so he's like trying to step into that ownership role, which is good because I think Stephen Jones has a better sense of reality when it comes to the NFL and, drafting quarterbacks, all that. And, but yeah, I think I got really excited for the Dallas Cowboys season after week 1 when they lost in the last seconds to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, the returning Super Bowl champs. That got me hyped for the season. I said, if we could keep up with Tampa Bay, we could keep up with everybody in the league. So that's kind of what that's the game that really set my expectations for Dallas. And I mean, they were 1-6 when they played teams over 500. So just I don't know.
See, and that's where it started. That's what it started. That's what's wrong with you Cowboys fans. That false hope gets y'all every single year. It gets y'all every single year because y'all see a glimpse of what the team could be, and you're just like, oh, we're going to.
We just get hopeful. We're
the greatest team in the world. We're going to the Super Bowl. No, you are not.
The way that Dallas's roster is set up, when you look at the numbers, when you look at these individual players, you would think that this is a Super Bowl caliber team, but the discipline is just not there. And I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Mike McCarthy is just not getting through to these people. I don't know what it is, but they need a whole culture change.
Absolutely. And I agree with that. Yeah.
I just say to your point, though, this is why you can't just believe what you read on paper. And this is why players can't be reading their press clippings. Because on paper, the Dallas Cowboys look like the perfect team. We could say the same thing about the Rams and even the Browns, right? Because when Baker got all these weapons, all of a sudden, lo and behold, watch out. They should be doing a lot. But this is why things have to come together. And it's why, like you said, the culture of the organization matters. Yes, the head coach matters and so much more to actually make things work. I don't care what looks good on paper if you can't prove it on the football field. And lo and behold, Dallas looks good on paper, right? But not on the football field. And that's why they're now joining the couch of everybody else who will be watching the postseason from the outside looking in.
You know what, Kelsey, you just gave me a thought in my mind, and because it makes so much more sense now because you said it looks good on paper. The Dallas Cowboys are like an Instagram filter. Like how there you go. Like, you look good on Instagram, and then you see them in person, and you be like,
you're like, wait.
Yeah, like when you're swiping through Tinder and you're like, oh, that guy looks hot, and then you go on your first date and you were like, whoa, you do not look like your profile pic.
That part, see, that's the point. This is why I love this show. It's just reality. I'm putting that on a t-shirt. The Cowboys are like an Instagram. I'm putting it on a t-shirt. moving because we can talk about the Cowboys all day. There's so much to dissect with that.
No, I don't want to talk about them anymore. Let's next subject.
Other than Ruth, but no. Since I'm glad that you brought up the Bucks, Ruth, actually, because we're going to segue into that game, the Bucks against the Eagles. So speaking of false hope, I thought that game was going to be a lot closer than what it was. And I mean, I expected Tom Brady and the Bucks to win, obviously, but I thought that the Eagles could make it interesting. They could make it a game just because they had been clicking, they had been rolling, they had been making things work within the last couple of weeks going into the playoffs. So I'm like, they could at least make it competitive. But Tom Brady said absolutely not. I'm trying to rest because I'm old, so I need to go ahead and get this over with real quick. And we're just gonna call it that. So I'll start with you, Kelsey. What did you think about the Bucks against the Eagles? Do you think that it was more so Tampa Bay kind of getting back into the swing of things, or are the Eagles not as good as we thought they were?
Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay, and the Philadelphia Eagles weren't as advertised. You have to look at the caliber of competition that the Philadelphia Eagles were playing. They look really good against some teams that weren't good, all right? It's just the fact of the matter, right? A varsity team will always look better than the JV team. Let's just be honest. I said this to say the Philadelphia Eagles, again, I think they had us fooled. Like you, I thought it would be a much better game, but lo and behold, I guess I was watching Fool's Gold or holding Fool's Gold what I had with the Philadelphia Eagles. And then again, I think back to last year's wild card game where the Washington football team kind of gave Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a run for their money. So I'm looking
That is only because we had no film on Taylor Heinicke, and we were not ready for the impact that he had on that game because he was running circles around us.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's when we say the legend of Taylor Heinicke was born. But what you just said, Ruth, is what happens in playoff games. This is when players are supposed to step up. This is when you're supposed to get those unknown guys at times that are supposed to be the next man up. And so lo and behold, for the Eagles, there was no next man up. We know the Eagles have been good. Why? They have had a phenomenal running game this entire season. They've had a solid and stout defense. Lo and behold, both of those things did not work out for them in this game. Unfortunately, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mean, it was just Tom Brady being Tom Brady. Even with pieces missing, Ruth, the Buccaneers look good. Now, mind you, I do want to look at how they get through this next game because, again, when you're playing the Eagles, you can only get so much good film on tape. But I think the biggest thing, too, Jalen Hurts, as much as I like him and as much as I know he'll continue to be a great quarterback in the NFL, I just thought the pressure was just too high. He was putting too much on his own shoulders and trying to put too much of the game in his hand. He was making just bad decisions, like the interception, bad decisions when he was trying to force things, I think, because he didn't feel like he could trust anybody. And so really, I mean, the Eagles, their weapons were shut out, right? The wide receiver, I mean, nobody really became a factor in this game. And that's why, lo and behold, the Eagles just, quite frankly, Tampa Bay just had fun with them. Like, it just was questions about Tampa Bay. What would they be like without AB? And we all know, of course, the Antonio Brown situation, but they look just fine. Again, I know that caliber, the Eagles were not the team that we thought. I'm sure Philly sports bars heard a lot of words that night with people drinking as they were watching that game. But yeah, the Eagles they weren't as advertised. And lo and behold, people always get this like false high and want to hop on the bandwagon of things without really fully looking into the full details of things. How many of you guys really read the details on your prescriptions or anything else that you have, right? You don't read the fine print. You just look at what you have and you kind of believe it.
I don't even read the direction of how to take the pills, I just make sure that something's on my stomach and then let's go, So.
And see, so then you might we all were like, you got to read the fine print. And so right now, all of us are reading the fine print on the Philadelphia Eagles.
That was funny.
Wasn't as advertised.
We all look like directions.
No one reads the fine print, and that's why you get fooled sometimes.
Yeah, Apple be getting me all the time when they're like doing updates on the Apple software, and that they bring you all this stuff that you have to read. I'm like, I don't got time for this. And South Park actually made a funny episode about that, how people just agree to the fine print without reading, and then you sign yourself up for something that you weren't aware of, and that's kind of questionable, but I need to work on things with that.
Same. I'm the same way. I am the same way. As soon as I see an update, I'm just like, terms and conditions, click. Like, I don't need to see it.
And that's what we did for the Eagles. We just did that for the Eagles, right? We saw they look good, whatever. I'm not reading the fine print. They look good. I think they have a chance against the Buccaneers. And lo and behold, now we're looking back like, dang, like we're looking for the refund because some people started to believe, and lo and behold, right now, they're not feeling good today because of what the Bucs did to the Eagles. But I think this was the game that wasn't the surprise, if we're being honest. I just think, like you said, that it would be a bit closer, like at least a competitive.
Now it was almost a shutout.
That's why now we're talking about the expanded playoffs. And if it was the expanded playoffs, a good idea. And many people are going to point to this game, and I know another game that we'll talk about saying, hey, did we need another team in the playoffs if this is the football that we're going to be getting?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Absolutely.
I just want to throw out there when I was first watching it, Tom Brady's throws in the beginning. Did you notice how they were a little off? And I was like, I told you I was watching, like, oh, it's Tom Brady. I said, no, but you can see it's off. He like something wasn't connecting right away. And I was like, that's weird. Of course, he did what he did, but I did notice that. And that was the first I was like, his throws are off. They're just off a little bit. I don't know what was going on. Tom Brady's Tom Brady, but I did see that and I go, ooh. And so, look, the next team, we can't play like that. It's like, okay, you playing the Sheagles, so we already know you gonna take care of business. You know what we do. But look, you got to make sure your accuracy. They just see, and every time the commentators, 44 now, he's still playing his best. Woo. Every time they say something like that, somebody get jinxed. Like, don't bring up his age and all. Been playing. This is one of his best years yet, and then all of a sudden he starts getting his throws a little off. You be like, oh, that's how they look.
Father's time maybe not be undefeated when it comes to Tom Brady, but who knows?
It may not unless somebody. I mean, it's good until somebody pisses him off. Then it's like, well, he's back to being Tom Brady again. It's like. You see it because I mean, he's one of those guys. He's on. I have like a list of 5 guys that you just don't want to talk trash to, and Tom Brady is for sure on that list because I've seen that man go nuclear. And then, you guys remember? And then being in your face about it, like, you were saying.
Right. You remember in the Super Bowl last year when Tom Brady got into the Honey Badger's face, Tyrone Matthew that was talking that smack, man. And then apparently Brady had like called him out of his name, and it was like a whole ordeal. And I'm like, man, I've never seen Brady get mad like that, but I like it. Kansas City Chiefs can't get on the board right now. I'm okay with this. I'm sitting in the club level, just relax. I'm sorry. I forgot you're wearing your Kansas City hat.
You know what I want to see? I want to see a rematch. I want to see our rematch. Our offensive line, 2 dudes out. Andy Reid moved 2 dudes. That messed up our whole thing. Patrick was running his whole life. He played his heart out. Kelsey got a big drop. Like, I literally want to see a rematch. I want, with our offensive line intact, I want to see a rematch. That was not.
But now the Bucs are having trouble with their offensive line with Tristan Wirth having an ankle injury that he's been seen in a boot around the training facility. And then they also had their center, Ryan Jensen, get hurt early in the game. Even though he came back, he is not healthy. And everybody knows that the Buccaneers protection is why they are so good because Brady gets like 8 seconds in the pocket to make these money moves, and it's really been successful for them. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go forward without having the same protection that they've had all season.
That's a great point. I think that's the only part of the Eagles that's probably continuing on, unfortunately, is the injuries that they cause to the Buccaneers. And like you said, now we're looking at this Bucs team different because, yes, Tom Brady is good, but we also know how Tom Brady can play when pressure is at him. And if you have an offensive line that is hurt, it's going to be a different game for the Buccaneers. And so I think, like you said, we have to closely watch that, especially with the Buccaneers missing key pieces. And I mean, Tom Brady can be great when he's frustrated, but also we know when he's frustrated, he can make mistakes. Yes, I know how great he is, but just saying, I think this Bucs team, I'm looking very closely at this before I say I'm picking the Bucs to win their next game.
Absolutely. Now, real quick before we move on to the next topic, do you think that the Eagles keep Doug Peterson as their coach, or do you think they get rid of him going into
Nick Sirianni? They got rid of Doug Peterson.
Nick. I'm sorry.
We know what you meant.
Yes. Thank you so much. So,
speaking of Doug Peterson, I saw I forgot where I read it at, but he was it the Jacksonville Jaguars? Or no, was it Chicago? I think it might have been Chicago where he was interviewing for that head coaching position. So we might see Doug Peterson entering back into the league at that head coaching position.
For Mike Hughes' sake, I hope that does not happen because Mike is going to have a stroke if they hire him as
a coach. He took the Eagles to the Super Bowl with a second straight quarterback.
And what do you do after that?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. So do you think that the Eagles keep their coach or do you think they get rid of? Because a lot of Eagle fans were calling for his head because, if you Eagle fans. So do you guys think they keep him or do they look otherwise? Do they exhaust their options or what do you guys think? Or should they keep him? Should they move on?
I think as a young head coach, bringing an Eagles team to the playoffs when nobody expected that happening has probably bought him some time. I really think the Philadelphia Eagles and their players are really bought in to his culture and like what he has planned for them. because every time you see him in the locker room, you see him on the sidelines interacting with his players. I think that they're really bought into what he has going on. So I think Nick Sirianni is probably going to be there for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I think Nick Sirianni has kind of been this surprise. I think when he first got there, many of us had questions. Remember his questionable press conference and introduction, and people just questioned
that was bad.
He does, right? Like, who is this guy that wants to all of a sudden lead this Eagles team? And you talked about the Eagles fans; they're a tough crowd. Everyone knows that. To your point, yes, they did get to the playoffs. They got there. We know what the Eagles have went through, of course, with the quarterback position with Jalen and Gardner and everything else. So I think all that to say, I think the Eagles kind of are the surprise team, I think, in the playoffs, and the surprise team also in the NFC East. I think right now, especially in a league where head coaches and good head coaches can be hard to come by, especially with what we're seeing college coaches getting paid now. I don't think you get rid of him yet. And especially when you have a young quarterback like Jalen that you're trying to get into the fold, what do these young quarterbacks need? Consistency. You can't keep giving them new head coaches and they have to learn new systems and new playbook. Like, it's a lot. So I think right now he's safe. And I think, of course, this year, that last game didn't help a lot. But again, what he did and what this Eagles team transforms to. And remember how the Eagles started their season, folks, and look at what they ended up doing, getting to the playoffs. So I think that was enough to at least keep them right now in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. What about you, Jay? Because I know you got to give.
I'm just gonna say they're gonna keep him. Let's let him really get Jalen together and kind of see. I don't think. Hey, they went to the playoffs after like Kelsey just said. After they started, we're like, oh, they didn't go do nothing. Made him to the playoffs. Let's keep him around. Let's see what he can do.
Absolutely. Jay, do you have to leave soon, or are you good?
Man, I do, but I want to talk about the Chiefs real quick. I was like, let me get it.
All right, yeah. So let's go ahead and hop into that too before you have to hop off here. So the Chiefs took care of the Steelers yesterday. Obviously, I don't think anybody was really surprised about that. So what does this mean for the Chiefs going forward? Jay, I'll start with you. So, like, as far as getting prepared for the next game, obviously, are they on the revenge tour? Is that the idea that they're on the revenge tour? They're looking to get their look back. Like, what's going on, Chiefs fans?
Let's go, right?
Oh, wow.
Right. See a rematch. I want to see the Chiefs and the Bucs back.
The petty is high on this show.
Yes, it's high. It is. After that 3-4 start, right? I was worried. Everybody's talking about Patrick. He ain't this. He's human. Can he have us here? Can we? But our defense. That's what always really scared me. I'm like, everybody running over us, throwing over us. Like, oh my gosh, it was atrocious. And then we came back, had that 8-game winning streak where we were holding opponents to 12.9 points averaging, right? And then we played that Bengals game. We started off hot, and then it looked like, what we doing? We going back to the beginning of the season? I was worried. I was literally worried. On my show last week, I got into it with my co-hosts and our guests, and they were like, nah, Tennessee, the best team. Ooh. I said, I'm not worried about our offense. He'll throw to Pringle. He'll throw to Harbin. He'll throw to whoever. I'm not worried about that. If our defense can keep it up, if our defense can play like we did in those 8 games where we had the 8-game winning streak, we going back to the Super Bowl. Because Tennessee ain't better than us. The Bills, I would give Josh Allen his respect. I'm gonna do that on my next show because I be treating Josh Allen, but nobody's better than we still the best team. If our defense can hold up, it's ours. It's basically ours to lose, right? That's how I feel. There's no team. I respect the Titans. I respect the Bills. They're not ready for the big moment. They are not. We are, but our defense has to hold together. Like yesterday, Patrick threw that interception, right? I was like, "Whoa, okay," but what we do? We took care of business. We were like, "Okay, cool, we're gonna do that." How many times last year did we come from behind? 3 touchdowns. You was never worried about the Chiefs. Like, oh, we down 52 to 3 touchdowns. Like, oh, we gonna do what we do, right? Of course, this season has been different. But again, as long as if our defense can play like they did in those 8 games where we were holding 12.9 points, okay, average 12.9 points, we were holding our opponents to in those 8 winnings. We going back to the Super Bowl, baby. Let's go.
We're going back. Oh, they're going back.
Again, there's my caveat: is our defense. I'm not worried about our offense. Like Patrick they'll get it done, but it's our defense that literally scared. Those first 7 games, just throwing over us, running like we could stop nothing. So as long as our defense is intact, we going back. Tennessee, Buffalo, y'all ain't. We'll see. Y'all got some more years till you get there. Like
I got a question for Jay though. Having Travis Kelsey throw a touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to do the Steelers like that? Like, dang.
That's chocolate right there.
I was like, what just happened? Like he snapped the ball and everything. It wasn't like a play action pass.
Right,
No, he snapped the ball in the red zone and scored a touchdown. And I'm like, wait a minute.
That's what we do. I'm sorry, Big Ben. It was your last game, but we had to do it. You know, we had to do what we do. You know what I mean? On my show last week, they were like, "Oh, what if Big Ben's his last game?" And my pastor from back home, Pastor Tim, big Steelers fan, said, "I'm sorry. I know, and I love Mike Tomlin. That's the only thing I like about the Steelers. Big Ben need to be gone by, but we had to do what we did. You know, we don't want to embarrass you, but we did when my white chocolate." Travis Kelsey is throwing to the chocolate. I'm gonna leave right now. Just stop the game. Stop it. Just stop it, okay? Yes.
Listen, I will always root for Travis Kelsey.
Me too. That's like my number one NFL crush right now.
That man is so fine.
That's Zaddy. Who?
Oh, yes. Did you see it? You
got a black girl. That's extra cherry on top. You got a black girl.
And she fine. Like she fine. Like
she's good for you.
What's her name? Kayla Nicole?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, look, hey, go ahead, do that. All day, yeah.
So Jay, right now, can we get a guarantee that the Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl right now, Jay? Can we get a guarantee that the Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, she got quiet. She don't know. She don't know. She doesn't think about that.
I have to ask somebody else. I didn't hear you asking. That's what I'm sorry.
No, I said, Jay, can we get a guarantee that the Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl?
Our defense, I said one more time. Our defense, we hold them to 12.9 points. You know, if our defense holds up, yes, I said it. The Titans, the Bills, they ain't got nothing on us. As long as our defense can hold up, that's the thing I'm worried about. If our defense is good, if we play like we did in the 8-game winning streak, we going back.
I need them to because I picked them to be in the Super Bowl, Jay. So make sure you guys
are going to be playing the Buffalo Bills. You guys are going to be playing the Buffalo Bills. You guys are going to be playing the Bills next week, and Josh Allen definitely is playing with a chip on his shoulder. The way that they were able to put the New England Patriots away, who has such
the number one defense, the Patriots,
and the number one defense in the league, and Josh Allen was running all over the place, throwing the ball, play action, all that. They were having trouble. Bill Belichick got shut down by the Bills.
Yeah.
So everybody, I just want everybody to remember 12.9 when they play against them. I want 12.9. I want it to be the back of your head because
yes, ladies, I gotta go. I gotta get ready for my show. It was a pleasure, Kelsey. Nice to meet you.
Great meeting you.
Root the truth. Yes, y'all keep talking it up, and I'll catch y'all next week. Bye.
All right, have a good show.
Bye,
Thank you. Our birthday. Tune in 8 p.m. Central. All right.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Sports Number. Woo! Let's go.
Bye.
So
she's so awesome.
Yes, I love her. I love her energy always. She's amazing. So
I was listening to her show last week. Freaking dope. Too. Like she was owning it. Like her other two. She had a male co-host, and then they had like a special guest who was also a male. Like she was completely taking over the game. Like they had nothing on her. So I'm really proud of what she's doing.
I love
for sure. Yeah, we always gotta salute that. So I'll ask you guys as well because we were talking about the Chiefs and the Steelers. So what does this mean for the Chiefs? Because they did. Obviously they dominated the Steelers. The Steelers weren't a great team, but they were a playoff team nonetheless. So going forward, are the Chiefs back? Like, are they on their revenge tour? Like, does it look like a foregone conclusion that they're going to be in the Super Bowl, or is it one of those things where it's kind of up in the air? What do you ladies think?
I don't know. I think it'd be really tough to go to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, not saying that it's impossible, but the Kansas City Chiefs are going to have to go through the Buffalo Bills next week. And Josh Allen is playing on a whole nother level with his feet, with his arms. The man has a cannon connected to that shoulder. So I don't think it's going to be an easy road for the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to see how they play against the Buffalo Bills going into the next week before I can make any judgment calls on that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be much tougher for them this season. But I think if anything, they've gone through adversity this season, right? I mean, the Chiefs, we were disrespecting them at one point in the season, saying, who is this team? This is not the team that we've come to know as of late. And all of a sudden, yes, they've been hitting their revenge tour at the right time. They hit and they're peaking at the right time. This is when you want your team to hit. And they were just having fun in that game. Let's just be honest. I mean, they literally were just like, let's just try everything in the playbook now. I mean, that's what they were doing. Like, I know the Steelers were on. I mean, Big Ben, let's be honest, we've been known he was on his last leg. I didn't know it would be that bad for Ben, but they gave him a nice goodbye. And like Jay said, I like Mike Tomlin, but I mean, there just was nothing. I mean, TJ Watt, remember for a while, that was the touchdown that they had. They had to get the defensive touchdown to finally get points on the board. Their offense just couldn't get anything going. So I don't think, unfortunately, that was a good matchup for the Chiefs, because when you're playing a team like that, again, your team is not being battle tested like they need to, but lo and behold, they will be next. But I think the great thing about the Chiefs is that they have so many playmakers that can step up, and it seems like the right guy at the right time. So I'm not counting out the Chiefs yet. I had them originally in my Super Bowl pick. I've been staying true to that because I'm not true to it, and I think they can get that. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, and Patrick Mahomes, when he's great, he's great, and he's another guy. If he just plays the game that he knows how to play, he's going to be phenomenal. It's just sometimes too, when he puts too much on his shoulders and tries to be too fancy, that he can make those mistakes. But like you said, Josh Allen, he's earned my respect for a long time. Like, I'm not seeing enough, but what they did to that Patriots team and what Buffalo can do, especially when Buffalo is at home, it's special. It's special. And the bromance that he has with his receivers and tight ends, like, I mean, Buffalo has something brewing, and I'm starting to believe a bit in Buffalo and this Bills Mafia. So this is why we're loving the playoffs right now. Lots of great football.
Absolutely. I would totally agree. I definitely think that the Chiefs are on the revenge tour, because I think they feel disrespected from how the last year's Super Bowl went, from that to the 3-4 start. Because I mean, I remember all the talk too, because we were calling them overrated. There was analysts that were calling Patrick Mahomes that he was been figured out, and the quarterback that was, like, I remember all of that. So like, yeah, I definitely think that's something that has stuck in the back of their mind. And I know Ruth talked about Josh Allen playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think Patrick Mahomes is playing with a chip on his shoulder too, because I think that he needed that moment of like humbling, like to kind of just like bring him down to earth a little bit and be like, okay, it's still a grind. Like, I still got to go after it. I still have to get it. It's not going to come easy. I can't just, play around. Like, I have to be locked in, zeroed in all the time, because everybody's coming for your head, because you've been touted as this great talent, as this great quarterback, as the leader of the next generation. You got to bring that every single time. And I think that he finally understands that and realizes that, because he's been playing like it lately. I mean, even in the games that he struggled and he started to figure out, it came back to, okay, Patrick Mahomes is back to the old Patrick Mahomes. And even granted, they played against the Steelers yesterday, but he looked great yesterday. Like, outside of that interception, he looked really good. Like, he looked like
5 touchdowns.
That first Super Bowl year made it look easy. He looked like that first year Patrick Mahomes when they went to the Super Bowl. He made it look like that. Like, just
remember when he had 300 yards in the first half, folks. Like, it was crazy. It was crazy.
It just looked like he
had 300 yards. Like, it's like, you get a pass. I mean, everything was clicking for them. And I mean, that's why, again, you can't count out the Chiefs. And again, I feel like they hit at the right times, and somehow, lo and behold, they always end up. And let's be honest, the Chiefs' standard now is Super Bowl. Like, that's their standard now, with Patrick Mahomes being there, with Andy Reid being there. So I think it's going to just be hard to count out against them. Again, they'll be battle tested, but I'm not counting out the Chiefs. So I think Jay's going to be a happy girl for the next couple of years.
Do you think that Eric Bieniemy, the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, do you think he's going to move on to pick up one of these head coaching jobs around the league, since there's so many options? You can go to Chicago, you can go to the Jags, you can go the Raiders. I don't know if they're going to be having Richard. Dang, now I can't remember his name. The intern head coach for the Raiders.
Bisaccia.
Richard Bisaccia. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be promoting him to head coach. So, I mean, I feel like the Las Vegas Raiders would be a good fit for him, since it will still be in the AFC. What do you think Eric Bieniemy is going to do?
For a long time, we've been calling for Eric Bieniemy to get a head coaching position. And right now, I think you're looking at the NFL with a lot of tangible coaching positions that I think coaches would want. But I think at the same time with Eric Bieniemy, for some reason, he keeps getting overlooked. We're hoping this is the year. And it's a larger conversation, honestly, about there being more Black head coaches in the National Football League. Eric Bieniemy continues to lead a great Chiefs offense. And yet here we are still having a conversation. I don't know what conversation, folks, still needs to be had. The proof is in the pudding, and we've been witnessing and seeing this. So I do hope that he's getting interviews. I do hope that he gets a chance. But honestly, lo and behold, just something in me doesn't sit right. And I feel like, unfortunately, I don't see it happening this year. I really hope it does. But unfortunately, Eric Bieniemy, for whatever reason, is not getting the looks that he needs to be getting. And unfortunately, we're seeing guys less qualified, less accomplished, getting head
Urban Meyer
in the NFL. Exhibit A.
What?
With that.
When I even heard that was even a conversation that the Jacksonville Jaguars were looking to hire Urban Meyer, I was just like, this doesn't feel right. Like, there's so many other assistant coaches around the league. Eric Bieniemy, one of them, like Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, who deserve that position. And to bring somebody in who was already retired, who played at a collegiate level, to bring him into the NFL, I didn't really understand it, and obviously it kind of blew up in their face.
It's crazy. And Brian Flores is another one that I would love to see get a very good head coaching job. Because
I was really surprised that Miami decided to let him go, and
that was wrong.
They were talking about that the players weren't buying in, that he, I don't know, showed favoritism in the locker room.
That.
Yeah, what's the song? Miss me with that. You know, that's how I feel about that. Because I'm sorry, like, come on, like Brian Flores and what Miami did, talking about another team that turned around their season. I remember when the Miami team, no one even thought about them, even in the conversation of possibly getting to the playoffs. They beat the Ravens Thursday Night Football. They go on this win streak, and all of a sudden we're looking at the Dolphins differently. And then lo and behold, you get rid of the guy that helped turn this season around.
Yeah, I don't think
like
I don't think he got a fair. I definitely don't think he got a fair shake. For surely with the Dolphins, I feel like he should have definitely got a. If you're gonna keep Urban Meyer for as long as you kept him, with everything that was going on with that team, like, you mean to tell me
literally took a player saying like his hands were on me for something.
And then be like, oh, you know what? Actually, maybe like what? No, like you should have been gone. You talking about losing a locker room? He never had the locker room. Nobody believed in Urban Meyer. Like.
And it's there's so many excuses too many times for these qualified coaches. Well, they didn't have this, they didn't have that. Again, I point to exhibit. I mean, Nick Sirianni now, I think he has the respect. But again, if you go back and look at his opening press conference, folks, and just some of the quotes that he's even had throughout the year. Many people
wasn't he reading off of a piece of paper?
It was crazy. I mean, everybody was like, "Who in the world is this guy? Like, who does he think he is?" And so I think, you said Robert Saleh earlier. I mean, we can talk. I mean, I think the Jets are giving him time, but let's be honest. Look at the Jets record right now. I mean, not much has changed. And I know, of course, they have a quarterback, but
then how do you bring a defensive-minded coach like Robert Saleh and then your defense actually declines? Like, that didn't really make any sense to me. I think the New York Jets are going to have to reassess that whole situation.
It was a rough year for them. Really for New York sports teams, if we're being honest. It was a rough year for the Giants. It was a rough year for the Jets. So New York, they've got a problem and they have to fix it. And it just a lot has to change. But that Giants head coaching job, I think, is attractive. But also I think it's a team where there just has to be a lot of turnaround. I mean, I thought that last game against the Washington football team, I thought you just saw a lot of, unfortunately, disgruntled players. And I think you have to bring the hopes back up in that locker room. You've got to change that culture. And it's a big job. They're going to be expecting you to turn around a team. And again, in the NFC East, I think that's getting more competitive because of what we saw from the Eagles this year, because of what we saw from the Cowboys this year. So it's going to be a big task for someone. But I hope they just get the right person, because I think far too often we're just getting this questionable head coaching kind of things happening. And again, you want longevity. If you really want a team to be good, I think the best teams, you see longevity, consistency.
Yeah, really sticking with. Yeah, we don't see that. We don't see that much in the NFL anymore, as far as like teams just sticking it and like riding out with their coaches. Like, they'll get rid of you after a half a season, like, or a season and a half.
They're just done with you.
Yeah, they're just done.
Yeah, it's worse in the NBA.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
And then exactly. We talked about Patrick Mahomes. Think about how lucky he is also to have a great mind like Andy Reid, right, at the helm, and what Andy has also been for that organization. And I'm not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes, but it helps when you have consistency and that head coach, consistency in the offensive coordinator, and honestly consistency too with your players. And we don't talk about the Chiefs culture. We don't hear anything bad about the Chiefs culture. I feel like they have things in order from top, talking about the ownership to bottom. And I think that's why they're also been proving this winning culture that continues in Kansas City.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. Well, moving on, I know we were talking about the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, they beat the snot out of the Patriots. So what do you grade Mac Jones's first playoff performance? Like, what would you give it? And is there like potential going forward? Because obviously he's entitled as the second coming of Tom Brady because he's the replacement, quote unquote. So what do you guys think about that going forward? What do you think Bill Belichick does as far as with him, as far as like maybe expanding the offense, adding different pieces to put around him? Like, what do you pretty much grade that situation?
Go ahead, Kelsey.
I say everyone's talking about Mac, and they all had all this hype about Mac. And like you said, he's the second coming of Tom Brady's, and Mac we trust. I mean, I just keep talking about Mac. He's the Mac, like all this stuff, right? And we see Mac Jones perform, and he didn't have a horrible. If you're purely looking at the numbers, he didn't have a horrible game. All right, 24, 38 passes, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. But lo and behold, one, I was not going to believe in a rookie, okay, to come out of this playoff game. I know Patriots fans were feeling high and mighty after the year that they had. But also, again, let's remember they're playing a Bills team and a Bills defense that felt disrespected after playing the Patriots that first time when they lost. Remember, this is a defense that was like, dang, we got beat by Mac Jones, who didn't even really do anything that first game, the first time these teams played each other. Because what was he doing? He was handing the ball off, and the Patriots were able to beat the Bills with their run game. So Mac Jones, I think we've seen a small sample size, and some people get excited about a small sample size. I'm not one of those people. I think Mac Jones, I think to be a decent quarterback in the NFL. Is he going to be the greatest? No, but also I think he's in the right system, and the system fits him very well with the New England Patriots. So I thought what happened, I didn't think they were going to get like mollywopped like that, but I thought, but I did not see the Patriots again coming out big in that game. So Mac Jones, I think he'll get you what you need. I mean, he shows he can scramble, he can get, he can get to guys and stuff like that. But Mac Jones is a guy that's proven he needs to be in a good system, in my opinion, to really be a great NFL quarterback. So luckily right now he has a great head coach, obviously, that knows the game of football very well. A coach that is only going to expect greatness out of him. But I think he's been very privileged with the situation that he's been placed in. But again, I think the moment was too big for him, and he was on too big of a stage. And so I think we saw the real Mac that I knew that would be coming in that game.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Ruth.
I had a lot of faith in Mac Jones coming into the New England Patriots organization. He was I think he was the 5th quarterback taken in the draft, and he had a better season than all 4 of those quarterbacks before him. So I had high hopes for Mac Jones. Do I think it's too soon to be calling him baby goat? Absolutely. He's still a rookie. I know when everybody saw him get when he beat out Cam Newton before preseason even started, that spoke volumes that obviously Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels had a lot of faith in Mac Jones. Coming from an Alabama team where he was used to winning, I knew that they were going to have a winning season. So I'm glad that Mac Jones is in the position that he's in. We couldn't expect him to do much in his first playoff game. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put on such a young talent going up against a Bills defense who was obviously ran by a great organization, and having Josh Allen on the other side is well intimidating because that he has the experience after coming off of an AFC Championship game last season. So high hopes for Mac Jones in his future. He still's got a lot to learn. He still is going to be growing, and having Bill Belichick as your head coach, he has a bright future ahead of him.
Absolutely. I definitely agree. I definitely think that Mac Jones is definitely a system quarterback, but like Kelsey said, he's definitely in the right system, being that he's a system quarterback. He has one of the best. He's at one of the best places, one of the best systems as far as being with Bill Belichick and the Patriots also in as well. I definitely expected them to lose. I kind of expected them to get beat back, to be honest with you, just because for the simple fact that, like Ruth was saying, Josh Allen playing with a chip on his shoulder, the Bills, they were starting to click at the right time too. Not a lot of people are really talking about them. They're kind of flying under the radar, but they are a good, solid football team. And I feel like that going into that, they wanted to prove something. They wanted to make a statement and say, hey, like, we're coming. Like, it's not what you think it is, basically. Like, we're not the same Bills of old. Like, we want our revenge too. Like, we want another shot at Patrick Mahomes. So I think they were, that's kind of their focus. But Mac Jones is a rookie. Mac Jones he has a lot of time to learn. And like I said, he's learning from one of the senseis of his when it comes to football. From football head coaches, it's Bill Belichick and then everybody else. So he's learning. He's learning from one of the best. So hopefully, if he can take in that teaching and really like master that system, I think that will spell great for him in the future. But I expected what happened on Sunday to happen. But this whole hailing of baby goat, like, we got to stop being prisoners of the moment when it comes to sports. And I feel like that's critical for fans and for sports analysts alike, because we see somebody have a little bit of potential. A little bit of potential is like second coming of Tom Brady, and it's like pump your brakes, because we forget that Tom Brady wasn't the second coming of nobody. Nobody even knew about Tom Brady like that. Like, you had to be like a real football fan to know what Tom Brady could do or the potential that he could have. And then eventually, like, he became Tom Brady. It wasn't just an overnight thing. He got an opportunity, and it was just like he's the next. Like, it wasn't that way. And so we have to start.
I said, let's remember too, this is a Mac Jones that some people have up for their offensive rookie of the year. All right. So this is some of the high expectations that people have placed on Mac Jones. Again, in the right system that you're saying, Sensei, and just the right things that he's doing. But again, I'm just looking at him purely, put him in another team, in another system. Is Mac Jones still a great quarterback? All right. Sometimes you fall into the right situations. And it works for him. I mean, I see it with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. It's the right system when he's healthy. And that's why we've seen success for him. But certain quarterbacks, like Tom Brady, thank gosh. I mean, he's Tom Brady. That's why you were able to pluck him from New England, put him in the Buccaneers, and lo and behold, the Buccaneers have Super Bowl rings. But not everybody's Tom Brady, and that quarterback kind of fit into anything. And so Mac Jones, again, I'm not bashing him, but I think the moment was too big. He's a young guy, and I think we just placed too high of expectations on a small sample size that we've seen of Mac Jones playing in the NFL.
Absolutely. So moving on really quick, I want to talk about one of my favorite young quarterbacks right now, Joe freaking Burrow. Like, I've been so high on this guy since LSU. I'm an LSU fan, so I've gotten to see a lot of Joe Burrow. But what do you guys think of the dynamic duo that is becoming Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase? Like, they look like they've been playing together their whole lives. They look like they've been in the NFL for longer than they have. Like, they look so just seasoned and poised and calm, and just they're clicking on all cylinders. Everything is making sense for them. Like, what do you guys think? Like, what is the potential for that duo? Like, is it gonna be a Tom Brady and Gronk situation? Could it be like a Peyton Marvin Harrison situation? Like, what are we seeing out of this dynamic duo? And what's the future hold for them?
Well, I said it that Joe Burrow was probably going to have comeback player of the year after suffering such a excruciating injury last season, and the way that he was able to bounce back and lead the Cincinnati Bengals to the position that they're in now with such a young coach and Zach Taylor. They have a very bright future ahead of them, as long as they could fix that offensive line, which I feel like they haven't done yet. I mean, you want to draft Jamar Chase. You want to bring in those weapons around Joe Burrow, but you need to have the protection in front of him. He's been one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the NFL. It's been crazy to watch.
He had the injury too, remember?
Exactly. The man is always running for his life. So I think for them to have successful future for Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, they're going to have to draft some old linemen and fix that problem before he ends up getting hurt again.
Yeah, I think on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I think they've become the league's new best bromance. Before it was Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and now we love Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and the numbers that they've been able to put up. I've covered the AFC North for a long time, and no one was talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. Everyone was talking about them. They're the Bungles. They're never going to be relevant again. And lo and behold, they took the AFC North by storm. And let me tell you, Joe Burrow is a sensitive subject in Baltimore because of the games that he's had against the Baltimore Ravens this season. And lo and behold, I know the Ravens had a bunch of injuries, but Joe Burrow has proven that he deserves respect in this league. We've talked about him being possibly the comeback player of the year. And what a comeback it was. You think about just a year ago, Joe Burrow, that injury, having to bounce back from that. And what he's done, he's made the Cincinnati Bengals relevant. And him and Jamar Chase, they just have a connection, unlike any connection that you've ever seen. And it's like, why you would play man coverage against Jamar Chase and what he's able to do to you to embarrass your secondary. We're seeing it time and time again. I think Joe Burrow literally has, in Jamar Chase, he has a quarterback's best friend. I mean, what can Jamar Chase not do? He's put up record numbers. He's broken records. I mean, literally, he's everything that you could want and more. So them being able to continue what they started in college and build it out. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to be a very dangerous team. And I think already we're seeing that in the playoffs. So I love what I'm seeing from them. And I think Joe Burrow's very lucky lucky to have a wide receiver like him. Many quarterbacks would dream of having a Jamar Chase type of player. And right now we're seeing it play out where these two are having great success. And again, the Bengals are continuing to make noise that they haven't made for a long time. Remember, folks, the Bengals had not been AFC North champs since 2015. All right, 2015. We had to go back because it's been a division controlled by Baltimore in Pittsburgh. It's been controlled by Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And lo and behold, everybody was like, Joe Burrow has stuff to prove. We were looking at Baker Mayfield. How will Baker Mayfield turn out? But right now we're looking at Joe Burrow as the quarterback that's atop of that division, especially with the injury that Lamar Jackson sustained towards the end of the season. So I love it right now, honestly. Give me more Chase, give me more Burrow, and I'm a happy football fan.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Like I said, I love Joe Burrow. I love Jamar Chase also in as well. And I just think that the dynamic of those two together right now, being that they've played together before in college, they already have chemistry. So they didn't have to really like get on the same page. They were kind of already there. They were able to learn that offense really fast. And I mean, they are like, man, like I said, they're just firing on all cylinders right now, and I'm so excited for the future for them. I think that they're definitely the future of as far as quarterback and wide receiver, and as well as like that dude Jamar Chase is still like seeing him play in his first playoff game and just how effortless it looked. I was so impressed with that. Like I was just so amazed by that because I was just like, wow, you would swear this guy has had playoff experience. Like he was just feasting, like everything
He's an athlete. He's a baller.
Listen, everything that was thrown his way, he was catching. I don't think he dropped a single pass that day. So it was just really impressive to go ahead and see those two perform. So really quick, I think we still have the young lady here. I want to go ahead and bring her in because I know she's been waiting to come on. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in Mia Williams.
Lucky, I was about to talk ignorant.
Awesome. And I'm so sorry to drop, but I have to catch. I have another show. Okay. I want to talk this game.
It's all good.
For having me.
Yes,
thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it, sis. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye, ladies. Bye, everyone.
Bye. All right, baby.
How do you get back?
So we have the quarterback trainer as well as the quarterback. Welcome to the show. We're so sorry for the wait. We appreciate you hanging in there for us.
For the wait.
Can you introduce yourself to our audience and let us know where you guys are from?
Hi, I'm Coach David Kennedy, owner of quarterback, Best QB Ever Academy. And this is one of my top students,
Hello.
Mia Williams.
My name is Mia Williams.
Hi, Mia.
For Lady Ghost Playmakers.
Awesome.
So nice to meet you, Mia.
I'm going
So
to the
nice
Pro
to meet you.
to represent the Cardinals.
Can you hear us?
Nice.
Yes,
I can hear it now. Yeah, she was. I'm sorry, I can hear it now. But yeah, so you said you were going to the playoffs, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The Pro
All right.
Bowl
So when is
Vegas.
your Pro Bowl in Vegas? So when is the playoff game?
February 3rd.
Are
Nice.
you ready?
So yeah.
Yes,
Are you ready? Are you excited? Are you pumped?
Yes, I'm very pumped.
So when did this love of football begin for you? Because I know you're a young lady. I think you're 11 years old. When did you start slinging the pigskin?
The summer of 2020. I found Coach Kennedy. He was highly recommended from some of the coaches I've worked with.
Awesome. Now, do you have a favorite NFL team? Is there any quarterbacks that you idolize or look up to?
Steelers.
Giants.
Did she say the Giants? Oh no!
Oh, she's a Cowboy fan. You should have did that. Oh,
It's okay. It's okay. I have respect for the New York Giants and their organization. I was really bummed that they decided to fire Joe Judge, the head coach, after that season. But it is what it is. What made you a Giants fan?
My brother liked the team. I also really liked Odell Beckham Jr. He was on the team.
OBJ, yes. Go ahead, Sensei.
No, it's all good. So Mia, I'm again sorry about the wait. Definitely so happy to have you on the show. So you're gearing up for the playoffs, obviously. Do you feel any pressure when you go into these games, just being that you are, you are a young lady and you are on a football team? Do you ever kind of get nervous, or it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm comfortable here, I know what I'm doing? Like, how do you feel?
Well, I feel nervous, but I also feel confident.
And Absolutely. That's a great answer. You should always feel confident, girl. You can do anything in the world. So I'm definitely happy to hear that. So they call you the best quarterback ever, right? You like the best, known as the best ever.
No,
Is
no,
that
no, no,
is
no,
that a
no.
thing?
No,
Is that a thing?
they don't call me
No,
that. No,
no,
no, that's the
no,
name.
no.
That's the name of my academy, and the reason
Okay,
it's
nice.
titled, yeah, the reason it's titled Best QB Ever Academy is because when I train these kids, I train them to be the best that they can ever be. There's
Absolutely,
no arrogance behind the name or anything like that. It's just a catchy phrase, of course. But
absolutely,
yeah, I train these kids to be the best that they can ever be. And the
absolutely,
reason that we would like to speak with you guys is to basically talk about our clinic that's coming up. I put
absolutely.
on clinics throughout the country. This will be the first time I'm actually doing it for all women. And Mia here is pound for pound the most accurate quarterback that I've ever trained.
So
So
you're the best
I'm
ever. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
The best QB ever.
No, I'm just joking.
she said you're the best ever. Well,
So what kind of started this? What inspired you to start this clinic, and what transitioned it to be all females?
well, as far as to start this particular clinic, the inspiration one, I'm a girl dad. My
Mm,
daughter, yeah,
dope,
yeah, my
dope.
daughter just graduated from Arizona State. Kiara Kennedy, hey baby, I love you. But yeah, she just graduated, played softball for Arizona State, and I know what it's like to see women play the sport, and they're no different. You know, a lot of people look at the women's game differently than the men's game, but no, they train just as hard. You know what I mean? They have the same passion, the same desire, and Mia has all of those traits. You know, so one of the things that I've noticed is a trend going. I don't know if you guys are aware, but now flag football is offering scholarships for NAIA schools. Yeah,
Wow,
and
I did
wow.
yeah,
not know
so
that.
that's yeah. I just
I
found out
didn't
not
either.
too
That's
long ago myself.
incredible.
Wow. Where was
Right,
that when I was in high school? Sheesh.
Right. Right. I'm
I played
exactly.
flag
saying.
football all 4 years. Ain't nobody offered me no scholarship.
Well, I don't know if you know, flag football is actually in high schools now here in Arizona, like for competitive reasons. So
Mm,
yeah,
Yeah.
it's real. It's real. And Mia's been training with me since what, 9?
Yes.
Yeah, 9 years old. I've been training her since 9. She's 11 now, so she plays flag football, and she's telling me her aspirations are to get a scholarship. So here we are, just putting in the work.
absolutely.
So to
That's
answer your
incredible.
question about what inspired me to do the camp, pretty much
Hmm.
her. You know,
Yeah.
I see the passion, I see the desire, and you know, I figure, wait a minute, because this is actually my third winter whiteout, but we titled
Hmm.
this one "Ladies First" because, like I said, this is my first one. My partner James Way and I, we came up with the title, and we're just trying to push the agenda. It's a trend
Yeah.
right now. Football for young ladies is, starting to become a little popular, so it's a trend
Hmm.
that we're just trying to push. And you do have some questions like with football, it's too masculine or something like that. No,
Mm,
it's not. Especially flag football. I mean, you can still stay feminine. You know what I mean? Especially
hmm.
flag football. You don't have to worry about beating up on each other and everything like that.
Right.
I
Right.
don't know
Right.
about Mia.
Right.
She probably will. She tries to beat me up outside.
As long as they
Oh,
don't call it powder puff football.
No, it's not.
yeah.
No, it's
None of
flag
Yeah.
that.
football. Right.
None of the power
The way
puff stuff.
I train her like I'm training. My high school kids. I've trained college kids. I trained the former ASU quarterback Dylan Sterling Cole once, and
Mm,
yeah, I mean, I train her like she's nothing different, and it shows
Mm,
when she throws the football as well.
right.
You're all
absolutely.
right.
How long have you been? How long have you been in? How long have you been into coaching? Like as far as just coaching
I'm
high
sorry, I
school
didn't hear
kids,
you.
and how long have you been into coaching? Like just being a personal coach, or just like team sports. Like how long exactly have you just done
I've
coaching?
actually I've actually been a position coach. Since about 2010ish, somewhere around no, somewhere
Mm,
around there. But I've been coaching youth football since 2007. And as an official business, I've been in the business since 2017 officially. But yeah, I played college football. Went to historical black college, Clark Atlanta University. Um,
dope,
yeah,
dope,
it's
dope.
Panther.
Yes, shout out Atlanta. I love going
CAU,
down
that's
there.
right, all day, every day.
Yes,
But
yes.
yeah, and then from there I played in a couple professional spring leagues and everything like that. and chase the dream like everyone else. Came pretty close. I keep hearing Dallas Cowboys. I cringe when I hear that. But no, I cringe because I worked out for the Cowboys once.
Did you?
Oh yeah. It was Jason Garrett's father at the time, regional scout. Told me the realest thing I ever been told in my life. He said, "You know what? You have everything." He said, "You have a quick release. You have a strong arm." He said, "You even have the intelligence to play on the next level. But you know what you don't have?" And I said, "What?" And he was like, "Timing. I already have 6 quarterbacks in camp." So that was like the realest thing that I've ever heard from a person. It was just a lot of people don't realize to make it to the next level like that, a little bit of luck and timing has to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
But,
That's so real.
But everyone has a story, and my story helps me help her. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
All the struggles, all the teachings that I've learned, I'm passing it all down on, in this brain right here.
To the next generation.
Generation, right? And again,
so
it's
since
trend,
we talked about flag football and how it's trending in the right direction, do you see flag football ever becoming maybe a college program where we could see these young ladies actually thrive in the game of football at the collegiate level?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's already there.
Is it really?
Yeah, they're offering scholarships right now.
Wow. Okay.
There's a young lady that's I think 2 years or a year older than her that's already gotten offered and committed to a college. Yeah, the NAIA schools are now offering scholarships for these ladies to play in college, and it's already in high schools right now. Matter of fact, I think Basha High School here in Arizona, in Chandler, Arizona. Yeah, they have the whole football program. So you'll go to Friday Night Lights or whatever days they play, just like you would for the boys.
They need to bring that to the East Coast.
It's slowly but surely coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. And again, that's part of the reason why I got into wanting to promote this clinic and everything. Get the girls out. It's a, like I said, it's a trend that's an uprising trend. And when you see these young ladies play, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
It's really fun to watch.
So Mia, what is your favorite part about playing football? Obviously, you're a quarterback, you love throwing the ball, but what really brings that passion and what brings, your want and desire to play the game?
Well, I guess I love playing the sport a lot, but I also love helping others and teaching them like what to do and like how to play the game, so I can inspire others to do what I love.
That's awesome. Do you feel like you have like that leadership ability when it comes to being the quarterback?
Yes.
You make people listen to you, right?
Yes.
Yes, I know that's right. I know that. Put your foot down. Put your foot down.
You got to be assertive, You got to stand your ground, be assertive, and, say it with your chest is what they like to say.
That's one of the things that I do love about it.
Absolutely.
And being in that leadership role, that quarterback role, it helps these young women, like you say, stand your ground. You know what I mean? Because it's a tough world out there, for the women especially. So you got to have that oomph, if you want to know what I mean.
Right. So there's a lot of aspects to being a quarterback. Do you think anything that you have, like the want and the play that you have on the field, does that help you in other aspects of your life when it comes to maybe school, maybe dealing with your peers, just how you are as a person? Do you think football has helped you develop into the young lady that you are today?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Playing sports is kind of like who I am. Well, I guess it's who I am, and it's also what I do. And I carry that into my everyday life. Being a part of a team, showing commitment, showing loyalty, even to the Dallas Cowboys for some reason. So it definitely helps you in other aspects of your life. So keep it going, girl. You're an inspiration.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
If there was any other position that you could play besides quarterback, what would it be?
Safety.
Nothing.
Safe. Why safety? I want to know. That's
because she want to catch the picks. She's getting those interceptions.
Yes, I do. Okay, I like that because now, that's interesting. I'm glad to hear that you said that because that would be dope. Would you make the transition or are you sticking with quarterback?
She said, well, make the transition to safety or stick to quarterback.
Quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's like,
that's the number one role.
She's like, I need to be in control. I need to keep everybody in check. So I'm gonna stay at quarterback. No, that's cool. That's super dope. So, when is your guy? Is February 3rd the next game, or do you have games before that?
It's the Pro Bowl in Vegas. It's the Pro Bowl in Vegas.
Oh, it's the Pro Bowl in Vegas. Okay, it's the Pro Bowl in Vegas.
No, it's the Pro Bowl, the National Pro Bowl.
Oh, it's the actual Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
They play at the
And you're
Raiders
playing
Stadium,
at the Pro Bowl in the stadium.
representing the
I'm
Cardinals.
playing outside of the stadium.
Oh.
Representing the
Oh, nice,
Awesome.
nice.
The older girls are inside.
Yeah, like 17 to 17-year-old girls.
Nice,
Playing
nice.
inside.
Nice. That's awesome.
Who is your favorite quarterback in the NFL right now? Because I know you're a Giants fan, but Daniel Jones isn't really that good. So there might be another quarterback that you look up to. What is his name?
I like Tom Brady and Cam Newton.
Yeah,
Okay, we
Tom
like
Brady
that.
all the
We like
way.
We like that. Okay, Tom. So who's your real quick? Who's your favorite female athlete of all time?
What's she said?
So who's your favorite? You said female athlete of all time?
Yep.
Female
Mhm.
athlete.
Who's your favorite female athlete of all time?
If you have one, I don't know if you have one, but
Sure. Myself.
Yourself.
yes,
Yes.
yes. I was hoping you'd say that. Now, so let the people know really quick again, you guys, everything that you have going on, and where they can, if there's a way that they can follow you or reach out to you, so that they can support Mia as she goes forward and continues to play in these flag football games.
Yeah, if you guys have like a website or Facebook
Yeah,
page,
or
let our audience know where we can find you.
Yeah,
That's
I
for sure.
post a lot of her videos on my social media. You can follow
Okay.
Best QB Ever Academy LLC on Facebook.
Okay, I'm about to do that right now.
Also, my website is www.pinpointqb.com. And my Instagram is the initials BQBEA _ QB Guru.
Okay, all right. We will definitely. I'll go ahead
And
and
we're
follow
having
you.
our clinic. Our clinic is going to be January 22nd, this Saturday. And what happened with that, the organization that I just now partnered with, they're called the Syndicate. They're a youth organization that pretty much supports youth sports. And what they did, they came on to sponsor this clinic. So now all the young ladies can come out for free. There's no fee for the clinic. We got guest coaches coming from all across the country. So we're trying to get as much young women to just get out there, learn the game of football. And we're going to have games and awards. And Mia, I'm sure, is going to walk away with some of them because she's, like I said, pound for pound. I'm serious. You see this young lady throw. Just when you go on the websites and on the social media, check her out. I'm going to make sure I post something else tonight, too. So, yeah, she's doing pretty
Absolutely.
well.
Dope. And I'm looking forward to seeing you, Mia. I can't wait to watch the highlights and get more acquainted with you. And I mean, good luck with everything that you got going on. I think it's super incredible to be a female and to be a quarterback,
Right.
and to be leading a team and going to the Pro Bowl. Like, there's just so many things that you have that are going on. That are great. So I just want you to keep that same confidence. Always be your favorite player, no matter what. Like that's so important for young women, for women in general, but definitely for young women, because it starts young. And you gotta carry that throughout life. So I'm wishing you all the success in the world, and as well as the program, man. And, I think, like I said, I think what you're doing is super dope as well, sir. Like, I mean, I hope that you guys keep that going for sure, and just keep prospering, because I mean, we need more of that. Like, we need more of that. Like,
we need more women playing football.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because there's so many women who know football, and they're just so well versed in it. And so to see them actually out there playing and getting the proper love, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah,
so definitely salute to you guys.
You guys talk about it. I mean, even though you kept us out here long, but we're not going to talk about that anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm so
sorry. We got carried away.
Okay, but you know what? That's how it gets, though. You get into the football and you kind of lose sight. That's what that's what us men do. You guys are doing the same. And you guys know your sport. I was very impressed. You really know what's going on with football. So
thank you.
Kudos.
We try.
Yeah.
Mia, how far you think you can throw the pigskin?
Oh, good question.
30 yards?
That is a really good question.
30 yards? 40 yards?
35.
She
35 yards? Okay.
Yes, 35.
Okay,
Like
so she's
that.
Mia dropping them bombs.
Yes. So do you
That's
prefer the
awesome.
short pass or the deep pass, Mia? Are you more of a flash, or are you just trying to get the job done? You trying to
Do you like to throw Hail Marys?
Yeah, you like to show out a little bit. She like, yeah.
Go ahead and flex first. It's okay.
Wait till you see the film. I have my hand.
I can't
like
wait.
this,
I can't wait.
and I tell her to hit the ball right here. She does. Then I tell her to hit a pole about 30 or 35 yards away, and she does. You'll see.
Wow.
Yeah, she's
Wow,
that accurate.
man.
She's deadly
That
accurate.
ain't
Wow,
easy.
No, not at all.
Wow, man. Would you like to come play for the Colts by chance? Do you want to meet? No. You're not. You don't want to
Play for who?
For the Indianapolis Colts. Would you like to be our quarterback or no?
Yeah, Carson can go kick rocks. He couldn't even bring him to the playoffs.
I just thought I'd ask. The accuracy, the way you were throwing it out there. I'm just like, maybe she could.
I don't know.
Yeah, who would you play? That's another good question. Who would you play for if you had the opportunity to play in the NFL?
I'm not quite sure.
Steelers.
The Dallas Cowboys.
The Giants. Ooh, she wants to beat the Cowboys. She wants to go. She wants to be with the Giants. Ruth, you gotta excuse Ruth. She's had a rough day. The Cowboys didn't do what she thought they were going to do, so it's been a little rough for her today.
No, this is what this feeling right now is worse than a breakup. Like I haven't been able to get off the couch all day. Like it's bad.
How you think I feel with Ben leaving?
I'm gonna say, wait a minute. You a Steelers fan? We can't let.
Man,
how are you
Big
feeling
Ben.
today?
Yeah, that was pitiful.
Yeah, he's had an outstanding career though. 2 Super Bowl wins, 18 seasons with the same team. Him and Mike Tomlin have created a dynasty in the Steelers organization.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So what do you think the Steelers do next?
They need to find a secondary and get rid of Matt Canada. Is terrible play calling, but.
So do you think, are they going to be drafting a QB, or is Dwayne Haskins and Mason Rudolph? I think those are the backups.
Yeah,
are they going to be taking over? You think they're going to draft a QB?
I believe one of them will. I don't think if they get another quarterback, I think it would be a veteran. Those two are okay. They're good enough to get in there and really get it going. They need to build that offensive line more. The offensive line and the secondary. Yeah, I'm comfortable with Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins. Yep. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. That's dope.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. You need to be
black and yellow.
You need to be on somebody's NFL team right now. If you throwing all these accurate passes, somebody needs you, girl.
Watch Mia's gonna be the first NFL women's quarterback. I've already see it in the future. So if you keep in the same road and you keep your coach by your side, you're gonna make it far, young lady.
I'm just saying when it does happen,
can play without getting hit. So she can.
All she needs is protection. That's all she needs. She just needs a good offensive line.
Whistle like they do for him.
Yeah, that part.
The Brady effect.
Seriously, no. I'm just saying when they make the Mia movie, can we be in it? Can we get like a little? Because it's coming. Like there's gonna be the Mia movie where she's gonna be the greatest quarterback ever.
They're going to take clips from this interview.
We just want a little clip in the. Can we just be in the movie? We just want a little clip in the movie. That's all.
I'll give her a shout out.
I'll be your equipment manager. I got you.
Well, guys, we thank you so much for joining us. Again, I am so sorry for keeping y'all waiting, but thank you guys so much for coming on. Mia, like I said, absolutely. And we appreciate you for coming. We wish you all the success in the world. We'll definitely be paying attention, watching your moves and letting everybody know that we know you, because once you become a celebrity, we're like, we know her. She was on our show.
She was on our show.
She was with us.
So tell the audience one more time where they could find you, either it be on social media or your website.
You can go on Facebook, Best QB Ever Academy LLC on Facebook. Website is www.pinpointqb.com. Instagram is BQBEA_QB Guru. And that's pretty much what I have for the social media and everything. Yep.
And you said you guys were having a clinic January
22nd at McClintock High School in Tempe, Arizona.
Awesome.
All right. Nice.
And it's open for young ladies from ages 8 all the way to adults. So right now I have some women, semi-pro women that are already signed up. They're going to be out there as well. And yeah, it's going to be fun. We got our music. One of my best friends, DJ Chuck Mack, he plays music throughout. We have it a
Nice.
type of festive environment out there. You know what I mean? And we have fun. And
You think Mike Tomlin is going to allow them to start playing music during practice?
not after what's his name? Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Claypool.
Chase Claypool. Yeah, no, not after you messed it up. No.
Man, ruined it.
I couldn't even believe you made that comment. I'm like, really, dude? Really?
Yeah,
you guys are playing the way you're playing. You're talking about, oh, there needs to be music at practice. Like,
no, you need to catch the ball and run some routes.
Well, pew, shot fired. Pew, pew. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining the show. We'll definitely be following you guys and, keeping up with everything that you're going on. Mia, good luck with everything, all the games coming up. We are so rooting for you, sis. You definitely got new fans in us.
You got this.
And, you got this all the way. Keep going, keep striving, and keep doing what you're doing as well. Because it's extremely impressive to see you, leading teams as well as you being a mentor in her life and just being an advocate for women in sports like that. Again, important. We need all the allies that we can get. But this has been another episode of the Sports Senseis. Thank y'all so much for joining us, we will be back next Monday. We see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you.
And remember, whatever boys can do, girls can do better.
Hey, you can no longer say you throw like a girl, because if you do, you throw pretty well with her.
Right.
There you go.
That's super played out now.
Absolutely.
Have a good night.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, top